Good afternoon, live from the Circus Sports at the Mid-Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Ross Johnston. It is Final Four weekend in college hoops as we have the women's games tonight in Phoenix, starting at 6 o'clock with South Carolina taking on UConn, followed by Texas and UCLA facing off at 8:30 as all four teams are the one seeds in their respective regions. Tomorrow in men's Final Four action, 3-seed Illinois takes on 2-seed UConn in Indianapolis. Tip-off is set for 5:09 p.m., followed by a battle of the one seeds in Michigan and Arizona with tip-off set for 7:49 p.m. Both of these games will broadcast on TBS, TNT, and True TV. In more college hoops news, Duke freshman Cameron Boozer was named the AP Player of the Year, marking back-to-back years for a Duke freshman to win the award, with Cooper Flagg winning in 2025. And lastly, Arizona head coach Tommy Lloyd signed an extension to stay in Tucson, despite rumors of him being interested in the North Carolina job opening. For all your foundation repair and your waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans of Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
HL 104.5 The Zone. Brent Doherty with you on a beautiful day in the Music City. Hope you're having a great Friday. Appreciate you being with us. Final Four weekend. You've got the women's game with the Final Four games. With the Final Four tonight, and then the men go tomorrow. We've got a lot to talk about. Tommy Lloyd will stay at Arizona, reportedly turning down a 5-year deal to go to North Carolina. So what does North Carolina do now? Because a lot of people... It may come to Stackhouse.
It might come down to
and
that.
his below 500 record in college basketball. It may happen.
He would have different resources,
I guess, but man.
I mean, and I know Vandy has done a lot like recently, but I'm not sure that was happening when Stack was here.
I know for a fact it was not happening when he was here.
Yeah.
And he was lobbying for that. I don't know. I always heard that he was an NBA guy. So, but when mama calls.
Listen,
I have a hard time thinking it'll be him.
You would have to pay me a lot to step into the college world right now.
Yeah, it's got to take the right guy for sure.
It's
but
brutal.
Tommy Lloyd will stay at Arizona. So with that job being open, by the way, Dawn Davenport is here, y'all.
Hi. Let's go. It was very hard to leave outside pool today.
Oh, is that what was going on?
Yeah.
I love it.
Neighborhood pool?
Oh, no.
No, house pool. Yeah. No, neighborhood pool is not open yet, Ross.
Oh, y'all have a neighborhood pool?
I haven't been in ages.
They live in the same neighborhood, for those that don't know. And both are from Plano, Texas, which is bizarre. And both are Duke basketball fans.
Totally bizarre.
Who are enjoying this North Carolina story. That job's been open for a week, that the transfer portal opens Tuesday, and they don't have a coach.
We've got a Vol who just entered the transfer portal. Speak of the devil.
What you got?
Portal.
Cade Phillips plans to leave Tennessee and enter the transfer portal as it opens.
Thoughts?
Interesting. Surprised and not surprised. Yeah. Are y'all really surprised when anyone enters the portal? Ross is shaking his head no. I mean, it's where we are. So, the one thing we know is that Tennessee spent about $8.5 million on its roster this year, and that they're prepared to go north of $10 million this next year. So we'll see what ends up happening. Obviously, they got Lundblade from Belmont, who can really shoot the basketball for sure. So we'll see. A lot going on. But, I just kind of thought that North Carolina was sitting on Tommy Lloyd waiting for the NCAA tournament to conclude.
They probably were.
At the latest on Monday. Transfer portal opens on Tuesday, and I figured that's what was going on. But he said no. So
thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah, and what's interesting there is that Billy Donovan is the odds-on favorite to get the job before Tommy Lloyd turned it down. So then you start thinking, well, maybe Billy Donovan's the guy now, but if he was the odds-on betting favorite before Tommy Lloyd and number 2 turned you down, that makes me think number 1 also turned you down.
Mm-hmm.
Now, people close to Billy Donovan say that he's not happy with what's going on with the Bulls, and they've had a terrible year, and that he might be willing to move away, but he's not going to do it until the season is over.
Well, it's a
couple weeks.
Yeah.
But it's after the portal.
And that's brutal.
It's brutal. So we'll see. So that story is going on. The Final Four, women and men, happening this weekend. We'll talk about. We're getting closer to the draft.
Yay.
Less than 3 weeks away.
Can you believe it?
Yeah, I mean, it's about time. Let's rock and roll. With that said, Stoney Keeley, NFL draft expert. I'm going to go ahead and just throw that label on him. NFL draft nerd. You think he'd be good with that?
Absolutely.
I think so, too. I think he would own it.
So happy with that.
I think he would probably wear the T-shirt. Mm-hmm. Football and Other F-Words podcast with Zach Lyons and Stoney Keeley. Stoney will be in studio today from 5, maybe earlier than 5, depending on when he can get out of his previous commitment. And he'll join us for at least that hour, so we look forward to that. Also, 3:20, we're mixing it up. Yesterday, we had Impractical Jokers. Today, we have Billy Gardell from Mike and Molly, among other things. And he is performing at the Mint Gaming Hall in Franklin, Kentucky tomorrow at 8 o'clock. So doors open at 7. Tomorrow he will be there at 8 o'clock, and you can check him out and get tickets, billygardell.com. Really, really funny dude. He's also lost 150 pounds or something.
Crazy.
So we'll ask him about that. Also, I'd forgotten this. He was in Bad Santa for a scene with Billy Bob Thornton. So I'm really curious to know what it was like to work with him. Also, the directors of that movie, the Coen brothers, who also did Fargo, among other things.
Jeez.
So I think that'll be a fun conversation.
Yeah.
Auburn won last night.
War Eagle.
Auburn has advanced to the NIT championship. They are 4-0 in the tournament following their 88-66 win over Illinois State last night. Keyshawn Hall had 24 points. Auburn will play Tulsa in the NIT championship game on Sunday at 7 o'clock on ESPN2. Tulsa took out New Mexico last night, as Slay predicted. I went with New Mexico because I knew nothing about that game, and New Mexico was favored. And Slay was like, no, Tulsa. But I'd already done it, so a little too late for me there. But that is what's going on. If you want in, 615-737-1045, we can throw you on in here real quick. If you would like to do that, happy Good Friday, everyone.
Yes.
We are working live, as you can tell, but he is risen, and we're glad to be here and to be able to communicate and share our 3 to 6 window with you. I want to give a shout out to all you guys that reached out to tell me happy birthday yesterday. Thanks for making it such a special day for me, Babs. Thank you for the cake.
Yeah.
And for being there at Mexicali Grill with me. That was awesome.
Happy birthday, Mayor. It was a good birthday. And then we busted into Skulls Rainbow Room last night for dinner, which I have never been there.
None of us had ever been there. So it was me, Kirby with an I, you, and Travis, and Zeph, and Alyssa. Slay and Chris would have been here, but he's out of town. We would have loved to have experienced that with him. But it was a great dinner vibe. That's a Nashville OG place, been around forever, lots of history with regard to Skulls, and they had a jazz band playing. It was cool. We did leave before the burlesque show, so there's that.
I was kind of sad about that, but it was so late. It was like 11 o'clock.
I know.
I've usually been asleep for 3 hours by then.
Yeah, the guy running came over. I was like, anyway, you could start that thing at like 10? He's like, no, that's not how it works, bro.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, but we've got Don Davenport here.
Yeah, right. He's like, who?
Also, our thanks to Mexicali Grill for hosting us yesterday. And remember to go by Mexicali Grill in Cool Springs. Give them a try. If you tell them you heard about them on 104.5 The Zone, you'll get 10% off. So definitely check those guys out. Ross is producing the show today. And
what up, Ross?
Hey, guys.
Good to have you on.
Thanks, Dawn.
Are you still buzzing off Misty's compliment that she said yesterday that Misty from Bon Aqua said Ross has a sexy voice?
I don't know if buzzing is the word, but felt some way about it.
Did people around you hear about that?
Family members.
Like who?
Parents. Aunt and uncle.
Oh, gosh. Did they agree with Misty?
I don't think my parents would say that, no.
Well, damn it, Ross. We know you had a great voice. So, yeah, that's fun. 615-737-1045. James in Ashland City, first up today on the Friday edition, the Good Friday edition of 3HL. James, what's up, man?
Happy Good Friday, everyone. Is Ron there in the studio right now?
No, he's in Indianapolis. He will be on the microphone for the dunk contest.
So. I was really hoping he would be because, I wanted his take on – I want y'all's take, too, on this. The first thing I want to do before I get into talking about Hendon Hooker is I want to ask you guys, in your personal opinion, going back to 2022, do you think that Hendon Hooker was the best quarterback the Volunteers had since Peyton Manning, yes or no?
Ooh, that's kind of a loaded question. You had a quarterback in there that won a national title that I think needs some recognition.
Well, the defense won the national title, and T. Martin.
Well, they don't win it without T, too. Well, I mean, he's managing all of that. Come on, man.
I say all that to say that I don't feel like, and again, call me a homer. Maybe I'm a UT homer, but I don't think Hendon Hooker has been given a chance in the NFL at all. I think he's thrown maybe 9 total passes. And it just bothers me that he hasn't gotten an opportunity. Why do you guys think that is? And I'll hang up and listen to that. Personally, before I do that, I just want to say he's better than Casey Clausen. He's better than Rick Clausen. He was better than Eric Ames, better than Josh Dobbs, and all the rest of them, in my opinion. He's the best quarterback since Peyton Manning in college. And I'll hang up and see what you guys think about it, why Hendon Hooker hasn't. All right, let me say this. Teddy Bridgewater was brought in when the quarterback got hurt for the Lions a couple years ago. So they didn't even give Hendon Hooker a chance. And I'll hang up and listen and see what you got to say. Thanks so much.
Well,
happy weekend, guys. Happy Easter.
James, thank you. Appreciate that.
I feel like he has gotten multiple chances.
There's a reason why they brought Teddy Bridgewater in.
Right.
They didn't believe that. Listen, they saw him every day in practice. I haven't. Mm-hmm. But in terms of production at Tennessee, I mean, yeah, Peyton Manning, and then, listen, I'm not going to blow past T. Martin. They won a national title with that guy. And that, if you go back, like if you were around, which I'm guessing James was based on his knowledge, but if you were around back then, everybody thought Tennessee was going to fall off the face of the earth when Peyton graduated. Mm-hmm. And here they come, and they get the tight overtime win against Syracuse. They get the overtime win against Florida, and everything starts going their way. He had a huge part of that, a huge role in that. Now, in terms of production and statistics, that wasn't his thing. And the offense was different. The team was different. He's right about it being a defensive-oriented, run-the-ball team, for sure. Play, action, pass, all that stuff. But there were some pretty big throws in that national title game from T. Martin that helped Tennessee win the national title. So I don't want to blow past him, but in terms of production, yeah, Hendon Hooker right there. That doesn't always translate in the NFL, though. So will he be given a chance here? Yep, because they're going to move on from Will Levis. So he's going to get training camp. We'll all have eyeballs on him. So we'll see. A lot of people think he was a system guy in college. But, yeah, he'll get a chance for sure. 615-737-1045, always a number. When we come back, we're going to have a good time talking with Billy Gardell. He's going to be performing at the Mint Gaming Hall tomorrow at 8 o'clock in Franklin, Kentucky. This dude has been in so many things. Mike and Molly, Bob Hart's Abishola, My Name is Earl, Young Sheldon, Yes Dear, among other shows. He's got a comedy tour now, the Less is More tour, and we'll talk with him next. 3HL 104.5 The Zone. BuddyAllenFloorAndHome.com. That's the website built on tradition, designed for the way you live today. Buddy Allen Floor and Home in Donaldson, a Nashville staple, 2405 Lebanon Pike in Donaldson. Talking with Zach the last couple of days. Zach Allen has been there now 35 years. He celebrated that yesterday. The business has been running longer than that with his dad. Now through April 20th with approved credit, get 0 interest for 18 months and up to $1,000 off. Buddy Allen doesn't just sell carpet. They make flooring, covering, Kitchen and bath projects, simple. From imagination to installation, from hardwood, carpet, tile, and more to stunning kitchen and bathroom remodels that fit your style and budget. Pick your cabinetry, countertops, plumbing fixtures, shower doors, bathtubs, hardware, lighting, and flooring all in one spot. Plus, their design experts will walk you through every step. So if it feels like a lot to you, they will help you out. They do it every day. Measurements, materials, professional installation, no surprises, just beautiful results the Buddy Allen way. Buddy Allen will help you create spaces that you will be proud to call home. Again, now through April 20th with approved credit, get 0 interest for 18 months and up to $1,000 off. 2405 Lebanon, Pike, and Donaldson, Buddy Allen Floor and Home.com. Check out Zach, Jenna, Judson, the Allen family. They're ready to help you. Buddy Allen Floor and Home.com. HL 104.5 The Zone. Brent Doherty, Don Davenport with you. Ron Slay is in Indianapolis. You can check him out on the microphone during the dunk contest and three-point shootout on the ESPN properties coming up on Sunday. He'll be back on Monday in advance of the national title game. Babs, you good today?
I'm all right. I had a couple espresso martinis last night at dinner, which means...
a couple.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Which means I stay up late.
Printer's Alley, man, that was something last night. It was a little different in the 90s over there.
Yeah. Yeah. It was jumping.
It was jumping on a Thursday night. But I guess a lot of people had the day off today.
There was a bunch of Harleys parked outside.
There were.
And as I was walking in, me and Kirby with an eye, some guy was like, "Are these your bikes?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah. Yeah. Stay away from them."
Are you saying that random dudes were hitting on you in Printer's Alley?
Asking if the Harleys were ours? Yeah. Because I look like a Harley girl, don't I?
Well, I don't know how to answer that question. But you've got entertainment options coming up tomorrow.
Yes.
Billy Gardell will be at the Mint Event Center tomorrow, 8 o'clock. Listen, we just did a show up there at Circa, and this place is like 30 minutes from downtown Nashville.
It's awesome.
And you can roll up there, see the show, BillyGardell.com. You can get tickets there. Billy joins us now. Billy, what's up, man? How are you?
Hey, guys. How are you this afternoon?
Doing well, and looking forward to your show tomorrow, I'm sure. So how does your travel itinerary look? Did you get some time in Nashville, or are you so slammed that you're in and out?
Yeah, I'm on tour, so this is, you're in one place for one night. Like tonight, I'm in Minneapolis. Tomorrow,
wow.
I'm there, and then Sunday back home to Los Angeles. So it's been great, though, man. Mike and Molly fans have come out. I played Mike on Mike and Molly, and it's now on Netflix, and it's in the top 10, which is crazy. And so it's been nice to see those fans again. And then I hired a bunch of the younger folks to do my Instagram page, and I got young people coming too. So now I got a nice bridge the gap audience. It's very cool.
We do that too. We have the younger people around here do all of our social media
especially
stuff.
that TikTok stuff.
Yeah,
we cannot figure it out.
No, I have no idea what's going on.
I turned on Netflix this morning, and when I turned it on, the first thing I saw was Mike and Molly. So that's got to be a cool thing for you.
It's crazy
to be able to get that content to a different generation, so to speak.
That's what I'm hoping for, man. A couple shows. I was on Young Sheldon for a brief stint, doing some guest starring work. And when that show hit Netflix, a whole new generation saw it. And I feel like Mike and Molly, I was lucky enough to do two shows. I did Mike and Molly, and I did Bob Hart Sabashola. But Mike and Molly, I feel like was a classic, and it's kind of proven itself because it went from 2010 to 2016. Then it ran in syndication from 2016 to 2024, and now it's made its way to Netflix, which is just crazy to be in that kind of a fraternity. But, yeah, I'm hoping a younger generation sees it, and they come out and see the show. I look a little different. Let your eyes adjust. Same guy, just less calories. I always say I went from a young Jackie Gleason to an old Paul Newman, but still funny. So come on out and see the show.
So funny.
How much weight did you lose, bro?
173.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah, man.
What is the difference the biggest difference in feeling mentally, all of it?
I did it all for health. I had type 2 diabetes, and my heart rate was bad, and I had to make a drastic change. And now it's just living in that consistency, which, it's like Groundhog's Day. I have to eat like everybody I used to make fun of. That's God's sense of humor. So it's been a gift, man. I'm able to go and do things with my wife now that I couldn't before. Like, we go hiking now, and, I've been horseback riding, went surfing, like things I never thought I'd be doing at 57, I'm doing. So it's never too late to change whatever you're doing.
That's sweet.
Billy Gardell with us, BillyGardell.com. Mint Event Center tomorrow, 8 o'clock, Franklin, Kentucky, about 30 minutes from downtown Nashville. They do have tickets, and there is a hotel attached to the venue, so they do have hotel rooms as well, so check that out. Mike and Molly, as you mentioned, the chemistry was just so obvious between you and Melissa McCarthy. Did you feel that from the jump? Like, how did that all work?
It was like one of those old Hollywood stories, where you say, we read the script and we just knew that really happened. And then the guy who played Officer Carl, who was my best friend in the show, his name's Reno Wilson, and we met 10 years before on a show called The Heist. We made it about 6 episodes because we were on against American Idol when it was popular, and you could hear the death drums beating while we were doing it. But we stayed very close friends. Our kids grew up together, and then we ended up on the show together too. And then that whole cast, man, there was just no egos. It was all gratitude because everybody was over 40 when we hit. And so everybody had the perspective of how special it was while it was happening.
Very cool.
Do you and Melissa keep up with each other still?
All of us do. We all get together once a month
awesome.
for a lunch, and now it goes from what project are you working on to what you can't eat and the kids don't call enough.
What is she like in person from a standpoint of people that, maybe see the big personality and all of that? What's something people wouldn't know about her?
Well, I can't tell you that, or I wouldn't be a very good friend, would I? Nosy. No,
I know.
She's super down-to-earth Chicago girl, man. And she always has been. She's like a little sister to me. I love her to death. And like I said again, that whole cast was like that with each other.
With all of these shows you do, how much ad-libbing do you do when you're shooting? And does it piss the writers off when it works?
No, it's not how it works. It's collaborative. See, you radio people, you're always in combat with somebody. You always need to be fighting with somebody. That's not how good creative things happen. The way we did that was it's a give and take. We would do two takes exactly as scripted. And you got to remember, we had the best writers in television at the time. Chuck Lorre, Warner Brothers, CBS. I mean, at that time, that was like the cream of the crop. And so the writers were fantastic, and we would do two exactly as scripted, and then they would give us one and let her improv and let me react.
Oh, man.
And so we would, and then the best of the three wins. So it was objective. If we could beat it, we beat it. If we couldn't, the other one stayed in.
Well, so how fun was that challenge to play off of her?
The best.
Yeah.
And the best. I used to just tell her, don't tell me what you're going to do so that I can react naturally. And then we just had that thing, man, that once the wind hit the sails, we were just both committed and off to the races,
Well,
That's what you do for our show.
I was going to say, that is kind of a commonality here.
You don't tell me what's coming,
Hey, I did see this. We were talking about Bad Santa the other day, and I'd forgotten about your scene in Bad Santa, but I'm curious to hear from you what your experience was like working with Billy Bob Thornton and the Coen brothers.
The brothers produced it. It was directed by Terry Zwykoff, who's a fantastic director in his own right. And Billy Bob was as cool as could be with me. I was making him laugh a little bit off camera when I was only supposed to say goodnight, and he was supposed to say something vile to me and leave as Santa pissed off, right? So we were talking, and we were talking about, where you from and all that. And I told him, I said, my wife is Southern. I said, I was 10 years into my marriage before I realized bless your heart wasn't a compliment. and he thought that was funny, and he was very kind. He walked over to the director. He goes, hey, I think this kid's funny. He goes, let us improv a couple. And what happened was they kept one of the ones we improved, but there was like 5 outtakes. And back when you could get the DVD, they left all of our outtakes on there too. So it was really cool because that was one of the first movie acting gigs I'd ever had. And so for that experience to be so cool, and with Billy Bob, and he was so great with me, it's because of him that scene's longer and the outtakes were kept in it. And that's the Christmas classic that the adults put on when the kids go to bed around Christmas time. So I'm always a part of that, which is really cool.
I always love the outtakes. Like, used to love, you gotta make it to the end, or you gotta go find the outtakes because they're always the best.
Yeah. Sometimes those are where the greatest moments are found.
Right, because you have complete freedom, right? In those moments.
You still have to keep the structure of the scene, which is why you do it a couple times as written, because in a good production, there's a point in every scene. So once you know the point, then if you explore outside the lines, you can describe it a little differently, but you stay within the confines of the script, and that works hand in hand.
So how different are the challenges? Sitcom TV, film work, stand-up?
Buddy, I don't look at it as challenges. I grew up in Pittsburgh. Drywalling is a challenge. Plumbing is a challenge. I'm pretending. And then I'm going to go get a cup of coffee. I don't know what the big hang-up is. I think it's a great gift and a great joy to be able to do this.
We literally had that conversation last night.
Yeah.
About how blessed we are to do.
Right now, you're sitting and talking, and they're paying you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear it. No complaining.
So all your success in the business and TV shows and all of that, but you started in stand-up.
Yes, ma'am.
And have done it a lot over the years. What is it about stand-up that you love, that you're passionate about?
I think that it's the instant connection. One of the reasons I think stand-ups take to sitcoms is that there's a live audience, and we just know how to do that. And the excitement of writing a joke, taking it into a room full of strangers, and then holding their attention and making them laugh and doing it repeatedly for an hour, that's like the greatest high for me you can get. You know, short of my wife and my kid, that's my favorite thing on earth, because it's sink or swim every time. There's no redo, there's no retake, there's no cough edit button. You live or die on every word that comes out of your mouth. And the fun in that is, if you like that thing, is it's wonderful chaos.
That's so funny. We had I don't know if you watched...
we say our show is organized chaos, but I actually like that phraseology better.
Yeah. And we had I don't know if you ever watched Impractical Jokers, but we had Sal Volcano on yesterday, and he's doing a stand-up show at the Ryman coming up. And so he said the exact same thing just about stand-up. It's the immediate reaction that he loves, because you don't get that with what you do in sitcoms, really.
You get your laugh
a little bit,
your audience, right? But if a lighting thing's off, then you have to make the same joke funny again. Or if somebody goes up on a line, you got to reshoot it. Now, when you're doing a movie or a single camera, it's just you and the cameraman, and you're hoping you're funny. You're hoping if it's comedy, you're funny, and you're hoping if it's dramatic that you're not overly dramatic. But you take breaks. Somebody walks by and says, "Would you like a coffee?" And you go, "Yeah, I'd have a coffee." Stand up, it's you keep losing the audience, and then they just leave. There's always that. You don't want that.
It's like cutthroat.
So it's not. Again, with the battle, what is with you?
I don't know. Well, it gives me anxiety to think about doing that.
It's connecting with other human beings, and that's why it's more popular than it's ever been, because we don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
I'm from Gen X. We used to go talk to each other. We used to go into a musical area and just bump into somebody and start talking to them.
Yeah.
These tech douchebags have tricked us into thinking the phone has connected all of us, when all it's done is isolate us. So music and stand-up, those are the last things where we're agreeing to go on that journey together. And that's cool, man. That's a good way to get out of the distraction of the chaos of today.
I love this conversation, because that's why we love what we do, is because we can connect with our audience, and we all become a family together and go through everything that's happening in Nashville, whether it's sports or not, together. Right. I love what you're saying about that.
Yeah, man. And we need that. We need to remind each other that we're communal. Communal, we're better. I mean, what Abraham Lincoln said, "A house divided cannot stand."
Mm-hmm.
You know, we can fight a lot of stuff on the outside, but when we start fighting each other on the inside, hey, man, pack it up. We're done. And I don't believe that. So I think these communal things, and art is one of those things that does all that without trying. That brings us back together, and we start to remember we have more in common than we don't. And that's important.
Yeah. So what kind of things do you talk about, focus on, do in your stand-up show for people that haven't been?
My first part of my act is I obviously acknowledge the weight loss. I always refer to the elephant that's not in the room anymore. and then from there I talk about my son who's 22, and I root for these kids, and I want them to know somebody from Gen X is rooting for them. I think criticizing these kids in this generation after how we overcompensated for them as adults, and it's the worst time in history, that we should think that they need to just toughen up. We need to be guiding them. So I root for the kids. I go at it from there. And then I talk about being married 25 years and finally getting to the sweet spot. And that's where we're at now, which is, I always say, if we were a football team, we'd be 17-8, but that's still playoffs. And then the last part of my act is an homage to my father, who was my biggest fan, my biggest supporter, the guy who told me to never quit.
You got to have guys like that in your life, or someone telling you can't do something.
Yeah.
Like, hey, watch this.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so you gave us the kind of football analogy. Obviously, we are a sports talk show here.
You
grew up in Pennsylvania, so does that mean you are a Steelers fan?
I am. I bleed black and gold. So it's Pirates, Steelers, and Penguins. And right now, thank God for my Penguins because the other two are just making me suffer right now.
So you're just a few years older than me. So when you were growing up, was it Terry Bradshaw in that group?
Yeah, when I was in my Steelers pajamas, it was Bradshaw and Swan and Mean Joe and Lambert and Stallworth and Rocky Blyer and just a heyday. And then the '79 Pirates had Willie Stargell and
We
Dave
Are Family,
Parker, Omar Marino, exactly. So I was spoiled early.
So you're still rolling with sports, or are you too busy for all that?
No, man, that's my break.
Okay,
I love baseball because it gets me to football, and football on Sunday, I don't move for 12 hours. That's my favorite time of the year.
I love it. BillyGardell.com. Check out the website. Tickets there. Mint Event Center tomorrow, 8 p.m. The Less is More tour. The comedy tour. So that's a grind, right? Like city to city. Do you lose track of where you are sometimes?
Yeah, you do because, like I said, it's usually 14-hour windows. Like I flew into Minneapolis this morning. I'll do a show tonight in a couple hours, and then I'll hop on a plane at 7 tomorrow. I'm a first flight guy because that's the least delayed. And then I'll get to Nashville, probably find something fried with some kind of gravy on it.
We have that.
And then there'll be a nap. Then there'll be a show. And then 7 a.m. Sunday back to Los Angeles. And I do that. I used to be able to do it a little more, but I'm a little long in the tooth. I'm like Bull Durham at this point. I'm just riding the bus. So what I do is I usually go out on Friday and I'm back on Sunday, or I'll go out on Thursday and come back on Sunday. If it's a really far trip, I'll go out Thursday to give me one day to recover because those days of just hopping off the plane and getting to the gig, the knees and back don't have that anymore. So I got to go on 3 days rest.
Well, Billy, it's an honor to have you on the show, man. We appreciate the conversation.
You guys' time. Thank you very much for the plug because my fans still listen to radio. They still read books. They're from Earth One, like me. So I do appreciate you guys and your time, and I hope I see everybody down at the Mint.
Tomorrow, 8 o'clock. Doors open at 7, BillyGardell.com. And don't forget to check out Mike and Molly.
Netflix, let's go.
On Netflix. It's right there when you turn it on. It's Billy's happy face and Melissa right there. So, hey, thanks for the time. Appreciate it. Good luck with everything, my friend.
Guys, thank you and continued success.
All right.
Thank
See you, buddy.
you.
Billy Gardell. How cool was that guy?
He was awesome.
He gets it.
I mean, he straight dropped the technology douchebags. Are you allowed to say that on here?
I guess
you both did.
He wasn't letting Dawn get away with the battle stuff either.
I know, and Andy called me nosy, which I've only been called that 8 million times in my life. That's the reporter in me.
It's wild to hear him talk about why he does what he does.
Yeah.
Given that, that's a big part of everything he said was a big part of why we love to do what we do and connect with you guys. He said
connection part. Yeah.
Connected chaos is what he said, which is awesome. And that we end the show with 3HL is organized chaos.
Yeah.
So
Two-Tone Gibo in the chat said connected through organized chaos.
I love it. More 3HL when we come back. We do have room for you if you want in. It is a Friday in the Music City. 615-737-1045. eSpaces.com, that's where you need to go to solve whatever work issues you might think you have. They are there for you. It's time to level up with eSpaces, offering premium, flexible office and co-working solutions designed for the way that you actually work, whether you are a startup, a growing team, or a professional ready to ditch the kitchen table. eSpaces has the options. They have the space. They have the amenities. They have the community to help you thrive. eSpaces.com. Check them out online. Redefining co-working with exceptional offices for every business. Private offices, team suites, meeting rooms that are fully equipped, 24/7 access, flexible terms, beautiful professional spaces that are move-in ready. Whether you're scaling up or just getting started, eSpaces provides flexibility without compromise. Want to check them out? You can. Tours available now. Reserve your space early. Visit eSpaces.com. That's eSpaces.com. 3HL 1045 The Zone. Man, appreciate Billy Gardell hopping on. Mike and Molly, man. If you haven't seen that show, it's on Netflix, like he said, and it is hilarious. Melissa McCarthy. And he was talking about outtakes from Bad Santa, which I now have to go back and watch that movie since we were talking about him being in it and his scene with Billy Bob Thornton. But Melissa McCarthy's outtakes from This Is 40 is
so good.
Real.
She cracks me up.
And that's kind of where I was going with, like, I forget how I asked it, but, like, you would have to, because I've heard this about.
The principal, the outtakes, This Is 40 with the principal?
Yes. But when he was like, he said they did 2 scripted shots with Mike and Molly and then let her just ad-lib it and then him react to her, which I think is just absolute genius level stuff. But I've always heard about Robin Williams that, who was it? Said that she was acting with him and that she felt, damn it, who was it? Mrs. Doubtfire. Gosh. Anyway, Sally Field. Sally Field was talking about how much pressure she felt to not screw it up when Robin Williams went off the rails because he was like genius level funny, but she had to react to him and keep it together and all those things. And some people are just more comfortable working with scripted elements, right? Like, and so I'm not that way, but.
No. I used to be that way.
That was.
And then I did the morning show with Neil Orn, and he's like, script, prompter, please.
Did he ever, was he ever, kind of going through whatever he was going through, and the prompter guy was, trying to figure out where he was and, where to be?
All the time.
Because if he's going off the rails, you still got to kind of keep it up to where he can go back in.
Right.
Right?
Exactly. Oh, my gosh. The worst job ever is that prompter, especially at 4 a.m. running the prompter because you're half asleep. And it's so monotonous running the prompter and then you're falling asleep. Sometimes we'd have to be wake up. Well, then you have no idea where Neil is going.
When you came here, I think that experience with him helped you
absolutely.
kind of learn me. But you still were used to that kind of scripted thing. And so that was an adjustment, honestly, behind the curtain.
Well,
for
and
both
giving
of us.
an opinion.
Yes.
I had to get used to that.
And being able to expound.
Yeah.
For here, do 2 or 3 minutes on why you think this.
Yeah. Which that's the part I loved, but I had to be comfortable with giving my opinion, and I would say it probably took me 3 years.
Right, and so you had your experience, but then for me, I feel more comfortable walking the high wire without a net, so to speak. You know what I mean?
That's how you roll. Yeah.
But I think that's an example you guys may have heard us talking about when we cut commercials during a break, for example. It's different than if we do a live spot. With a live spot, we may mess up now and then, but typically speaking, we can roll through that pretty easily. But if we start recording things, we all mess up because you're walking the high wire, but you have a net.
Yep.
So anyway, that's a little bit about us. But BillyGardell.com if you want to go check him out. 30 minutes from here. That was fascinating from our perspective. Hopefully you enjoyed that. North Carolina does not have a basketball coach. We've been talking about that. 615-737-1045.
Right, Ross?
Are you guys heartbroken?
So sad.
I'm sitting here with 2 Duke basketball fans.
So heartbroken that they're, struggling to figure out who their next coach is going to be.
What if the story came down today that John Shire's going to North Carolina?
That would never happen.
I would.
Never.
Yeah, it's an April Fool's.
Coach K is coming back. He's going to North Carolina.
Absolutely never. He would never even consider it.
I do want them to get a good coach, though. I know how weird that sounds, but I feel like the sport's more fun when Carolina's one of the top teams. I mean, obviously, I want to beat them every time, but
did you think that when they hit the 3 at the buzzer this year?
No, I was like, why do they only have 1 foul on them the entire second half?
Right?
That's kind of
right?
stupid.
A little home cooking, yeah.
Because we certainly take it to the paint every game, but
oh man, you guys.
I thought it more when we 3-0 sweeped them last year. Dawn, that was fun.
Yeah, keep talking, Ross. Or even,
with those dulcet tones.
The other matchup, we fixed it after that.
So Cade Phillips transfer portal.
Yeah, what do you think? Not surprised?
I'm never surprised by the portal. I didn't anticipate him doing that coming off the injury. Because, what's the open market for Cade Phillips? Bigs get paid. They do, because it's hard to find them. But what's the market? He played 10 games this year. Started 9. Last year, 2024, 2025, he played in 38 games, did not start any. He averaged 4.6 points per game, 3.5 rebounds per game. So I would argue that his market would be higher at Tennessee. Now, could he come back to Tennessee? Yeah, he could. Probably not, but you could.
I feel like once you announce you're in the portal, your current team is like, see ya.
Like you don't go in the portal if you don't have a plan, right? It's not like, oh, I'm going to the portal. No, where am I going to go?
That's what you should do.
Yeah, well, that's what.
But
it's
unfortunately, there is a lot of kids that make the decision that don't have a plan, or they have a plan. And then all of a sudden that team's like, oh, no, actually, we're good. We found this guy or whatever. And then they're screwed sometimes.
So Billy Gardell was talking about growing up with the 79 Pittsburgh Pirates, okay? Like, so I'll go back to, like, the early 80s Astros, and I could tell you year to year there might be a couple of changes, but primarily you're going with the same roster year after year for several years, and there wasn't a lot of movement. Especially in college, because up until not too long ago, like you would have to sit out a year if you transferred. So that, dissuaded a lot of people from even entering that thought process. But I'm curious, like as sports fans, do you like it the way it is now where the rosters are constantly changing? So a lot of people used to always, follow recruiting on whatever level that your sports fandom allowed you to do. And a lot of people got into it. A lot of people were like, let me wait and see what the class looks like. And then maybe you were like, you reach a point and you're like looking at the season ahead in college football, for example. Okay, let me see who's back and who they brought in and all those things. But now, like, there's so much of a different level to it that it's so ever changing. Are you actually more entertained by the way the sports landscape is now in the college world with all the transfer portal stuff, or do you not like it? I like it.
I would like it if it was somewhere in between.
I like it because I like the change, and it's just something else to pay attention to. Like, oh, they lost this guy. How are they going to replace this guy? Or they added this guy. They're bringing this guy back. Like, I think all of that stuff is really interesting.
Yeah, I can agree with that, but then also it's a lot. It's a lot to keep up with too as a fan.
A lot of people don't like change either.
Correct.
Yeah.
So Brandon Marcello just put this out. He's with CBS Sports now. He used to cover Auburn, by the way. But anyway, about an hour ago, he said breaking President Trump's executive order on college sports is expected as early as this afternoon. Sources tell CBS Sports key directives on player eligibility and movement, 5 years to play 5 seasons, and 1 free undergraduate transfer. Now, will it?
Good luck.
Yes.
The 5 for 5, like the 5 for 5
makes sense.
I like that.
Just do it. Be done.
But I don't mind all the movement. Am I in the minority? I don't mind all the transferring.
As a fan,
a lawsuit is going to be filed on this, right? And then it's going to end up getting struck down and whatever else.
But if you're changing your roster yearly, like you could have a suck season, right? But that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to suck next year.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
It has definitely changed everything from that standpoint.
But I think the people it impacts the most are the ones we talk about the least, and that's high school athletes. Because
definitely.
As someone who's been in that experience, it's hard enough. Like, I got recruited when people were getting COVID eligibility, extra years added on. That's hard.
That's right.
Now they're dealing with, if you're getting recruited to play somewhere, and so is a kid who's a transfer, a college coach is going to take the transfer every single time.
So I love that you brought that up because I hate this for our high school student athletes. It's so much harder. But I just called the state boys basketball championships and asked every coach about it that I talked to on the phone because I was just curious, like, what are you living? What have you seen? And every single one of them were like, it's awful. Like, it's terrible. I've got kids that in the past would absolutely have opportunities to go somewhere that now will not have opportunities. And he was like, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking for that athlete coming out of high school because it's not what it used to be. And it's not, there's so much more limited opportunities now because of that transfer portal. Because like you said, if you're going to, I'm not going to take, unless it's a 5-star, 4-star, right? Top-notch recruit here that you're like, this person can come in and play immediately. You're not going to take a chance on a high school kid who's never done the academic side of it, who has never played at the speed of it. I talked about it during volleyball the other day. They have some true freshmen on Vanderbilt's squad, and I'm like, the difference in the speed from high school to college in every sport there is a massive difference, right? And so these high school kids that maybe were good enough in the past to get chances, at the bottom end of a recruiting class and get a chance to go and experience that and develop and all that, they're not getting those chances anymore because coaches are keeping some of those scholarships for their portal players.
Yep.
Because if I'm a coach, I want a guy that already knows what it takes to sit in class and have to do the academic side of it and knows the conditioning part and everything that goes into being a collegiate athlete and already knows the speed of it, whether he played a ton or not. I'm gonna take a chance on that guy before a high school younger kid.
Yeah, and they're telling kids this too, and it's different in every sport, but it's also similar in every sport. So, I know a friend of mine, his son, absolutely is an SEC baseball player, but because of the transfer portal, and they had SEC coaches tell him like, "Hey, man, go to a small school, go dominate, get better, grow, all these things." And that's when you'll get your opportunity after a couple of years. And I think that's what's going to happen for this guy. But yeah, it's funny how open they are with that. And so you're starting to see some higher level stuff in the baseball world, some higher level play in some of these smaller schools. And we have a lot of great smaller schools in this state that produce players. So I think I read Tennessee, the state of Tennessee is 10th in America in Major League Baseball roster spots. Tennessee. So you expect the California, the Florida, the Texas, all those things. That's true. But Tennessee is 10th on that list. So a lot of baseball players coming out of here. A lot of baseball players live here in the offseason. Yeah, I think it's an interesting topic. So do you like the way that it is now, as transient as college athletes in sport is, or do you not? 615-737-1045. Also, Kirk Cousins, man. You got to respect the guy. I won't tell you how much money he's made in the NFL when we come back in 3HL 1045 The Zone. United Structural Systems, not just another repair company, USSTN.com. They are your local foundation and waterproofing experts. They live here, they work here, they understand exactly how Tennessee's soil, weather, and homes behave. Serving homeowners across Tennessee for more than 30 years. More than 30,000 local homeowners have trusted USS. That experience means they've seen every type of problem that our homes face. Every crack or leak tells a story, and USS knows what those signs mean. They pinpoint problems at the source: foundation settlement, basement water intrusion, crawl space moisture issues, and more. No guesswork, just expert diagnosis from people who know Tennessee homes. Their repair solutions are engineered to stand up to our local conditions. A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau, transferable lifetime warranties, local service, long-term protection. You're not just getting repairs, you're getting peace of mind. Book your free home inspection at USSTN.com. United Structural Systems. We are problem solvers. We are experienced. We are local. We are USS. USSTN.com.
Good afternoon, live from the Circus Sports at the Mint Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Ross Johnston. It is Final Four weekend in college hoops as we have the women's games tonight in Phoenix starting at 6 o'clock with South Carolina taking on UConn, followed by Texas and UCLA facing off at 8:30 as all four teams are the one seeds from their respective regions. Tomorrow in men's Final Four action, 3-seed Illinois takes on 2-seed UConn in Indianapolis with tip-off set for 5:09 p.m., followed by a battle of the one seeds with Michigan and Arizona facing off at 7:49 p.m. Both of these games will broadcast on TBS, TNT, and True TV. In Vol basketball news, junior forward Cade Phillips will be entering the transfer portal per On3 Sports. Phillips started in 9 games for the Vols last year until being ruled out for the year after shoulder surgery. Lastly, Duke freshman Cameron Boozer was named the AP Player of the Year, marking back-to-back years for a Duke freshman to win the award, with Cooper Flagg winning in 2025. For all your foundation repair and your waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
HL 104.5 The Zone. Britt Doherty with you on a beautiful day in the Music City. Hope you're having a great Friday. Lot going on this weekend. Tonight, you've got the women's Final Four. Touch on that in just a second. Also, man, Kirk Cousins. The amount of money that dude has made in the NFL is going to blow your mind. Don Davenport is here, y'all.
What up? Twitch, please. Happy Friday. Good Friday. How about this? Good Friday to all of you out there. It's a good Friday.
It is a good Friday. That is for sure. And it is a beautiful day outside. It's going to be a little cooler for Easter Sunday.
I might be a little bit bitter that we are working on Good Friday. A little bitter. How are you guys? Like, do most people have Good Fridays off? Like, my Mr. Babs does. Obviously, the kids are not in school anywhere.
I think most people do.
Most people do? Mm-hmm. Why do we not?
I don't know.
Huh. Do I need to call our CEO real quick?
Please do not do that.
Hey, why do we not get Good Friday off?
That will jeopardize all of our jobs.
Would the Lord want us to be working today?
That's right. We gotta celebrate. He is risen.
That's right.
But anyway, it's good to be with you guys out there that maybe are working or are in your cars on this beautiful day. God.
Either way, it is Friday.
My temperature in my car said 90 degrees driving in.
Is that true?
Yeah, I don't think it was quite 90. Maybe it was just sitting in the sun. But
I think your car is just always running hot.
Well, yes. Yes, I just walked in and Matt Murphy was like, hey, did you take another victim in the parking lot there? I'm like, shut it.
He came in here and told me to tell you to stay away from his car.
It is 87. It is 87 degrees.
Oh, so it was right.
Well, maybe.
Pretty accurate.
615-737-1045. We were talking about the transient nature of college sports now, and do you like it more now that the rosters are changing every year, or maybe you don't? Babs, I do like it. Babs is kind of in the...
I'm in the middle.
Between.
I'm like the mayor right now. I'm in the middle.
You're vice mayor?
Mm-hmm.
Joey, next up on 3HL. Joey, what's up, man?
Babs, Mayor, Don, don't feel bad. I had class this morning. I've never had class before on a Good Friday. Yeah, because I transferred out up to Western, and, so we had class this morning.
Oh, interesting.
But, yeah, so I'm kind of where you're at, Don, with this whole transfer portal because, yes, it has helped my school in these past 2 years, raise us up to where we're at and helping us get these top recruits, for football and everything like that. But then also, I kind of like it was back in the day to where you either transferred down to FCS to keep that year eligibility and then came back up that next year to play, or if you transferred laterally, you just where you had to sit out. That's the kind of way that I do like it. And as far as the basketball thing, too, like you were talking about earlier with the high schools, to me, like I'm okay with like the smaller school players jumping to the bigger schools, like what just happened with Belmont and that school out east. I'm cool with that because that gives these kids in high school basketball, maybe they do get recruited like a Belmont, Murray State, Austin P or something like that in these smaller one big conferences to give them that year so that they can. It's a little bit slower, but it also gives them that year to gain that experience as if they just came in and then transfer out to the bigger schools. But like I said, I'm kind of like you. I don't like the constant churning of the rosters where it's a completely almost new roster every year, and you have no idea who these players are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, Tyler Lumboyd is a good example because, like, back in the day, like, he can win Missouri Valley Player of the Year and not have an opportunity to go to a power school, right? Like, and now he does. So now he's earned this opportunity, whereas before he wouldn't have had it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
There are so many angles from which you can look at this and kind of try to figure it out.
But then, like, a guy, like, to combat Joey's point, what if a guy like Cade Phillips transfers to Belmont and takes away an opportunity for someone there, right? Because guys will transfer down.
Yeah. Or my friend's kid that, back in the day, he would have been on an SEC roster right now. But because of to Babs' point, the limited scholarships for high school kids, you got to go prove it again. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah, interesting. 615-737-1045. Again, Stoney Keeley is coming in, and we're going to get Titans heavy with him when he jumps in studio. Women's Final Four is tonight. All 4 number 1 seeds playing. So this is interesting.
Baby.
Chalk. And it's interesting how intertwined these 4 teams are in these 2 matchups. So 1 seed South Carolina against 1 seed UConn tonight, 6 o'clock on ESPN. UConn a 6.5-point favorite in this matchup. This is a rematch of last year's national title game where UConn blasted South Carolina 82-59. So we'll see how this one goes. South Carolina, meanwhile, UConn won it last year. South Carolina won it all 2 years ago. So the last 2 national champions are playing tonight at 6 o'clock against each other. Then the other matchup, 1 seed Texas against 1 seed UCLA. Texas favored by 1.5, 8:30 on ESPN. Texas and UCLA were both in the Final Four last year, but they both lost because UCLA lost to UConn and Texas lost to South Carolina. So the 2 teams on the other side of the bracket beat both of these teams. It's kind of a weird little dichotomy there. But that'll be coming up tonight. 615-737-1045. I mentioned Kirk Cousins. From Adam Schefter today. Including the $10 million due next year, Cousins will be at this number in his career NFL salary earnings. Have you seen this today?
No.
Ross has. $341,469,288.
Jeez.
This,
Just
keep in mind.
Doing the work.
He's 38 years old, okay?
Mm-hmm.
He was drafted in 2012 by Washington. Now, take yourself back to the 2012 draft where Washington drafted 2 quarterbacks. They drafted RG3, number 2 overall. They drafted Kirk Cousins in the 4th round. Meanwhile, Kirk Cousins, $341 million and change in career earnings. Phenomenal. You know who else was drafted in the top 10 of that draft? Ryan Tannehill went number 8 to the Miami Dolphins.
Can we talk about him just real quick? Like, are you surprised that he was just done?
No.
I mean, I think he had opportunities to come back and be a backup or maybe even a starter at some point or somewhere. But
he said it would be the right opportunity. I don't know. Like, you know me with body language and watching people talk as opposed to like reading what they said.
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of got the feeling that, he was fine without football.
Yeah.
So I wasn't surprised.
He definitely was. And then
when he walked away.
I mean, he talked so much about mentally where that bad playoff game and how it all ended and then seeing ghost and all of that, like how much it affected him.
He sought mental health help.
Yes.
After that playoff game.
But I was surprised that he never made it back somewhere And it was his choice because he could have.
Completely.
I mean, look, it's so hard to find decent quarterbacks, even backups, right? So, but I was like, for sure, we'll see him somewhere as a backup with a chance probably to start if somebody gets injured. But no, he's like, peace, I'm good. I'm going to go hang out with my pretty family.
Deuces. Mm-hmm. What was he on the boat with? What did he have? Did he have a Red Bull or something?
Yeah,
No.
it wasn't Red Bull. It was it Celsius?
Oh, I think it was Celsius.
Yeah, but it was like a scheduled tweet, like promotional tweet, and it came out at a really bad time. I forget when it came out. Do you
Forgot
remember
to.
that?
Yeah. I forget
and
what it
people
was.
were like, oh, yeah, you're just on a boat, whatever. And he's like, dude, it was a scheduled promotional like post.
If
You
they would
know,
have had T-Pain on that boat, that would have been a perfect spot.
I'm on a boat.
Go back and watch the SNL digital track with T-Pain. I'm on a boat. Just search that out. It's hilarious. There is language in it, like most things. He'll be 38, Kirk Cousins. He'll be 38 in August. So of that $341 million and change, check out the amount of fully guaranteed money he had along the way. $339,369,288. Dude, I mean, what kind of life would you live, right? Like, I think we all would give back on some level, maybe some big level. But also, wouldn't you have a house that looked at the ocean or something? Like, like what would be your secondary luxurious thing? I mean, I don't think any of us would move from Nashville, but
No.
would you rather have like a
I
villa?
definitely have a vacation house somewhere.
Yeah, would you rather have a villa in like Italy or like a
yeah.
penthouse type thing in Manhattan or 30A looking at the water? Maybe the
Not 38.
Where
That's
is-
basically like Nashville B.
where is Nant? Pebble Beach? Have a house over there?
Yeah.
I think you could pick
that's
multiple
California,
of
though.
those.
Multiples.
Yeah,
pick
you could
multiple
probably
with
pick
that
a
money.
bunch. And maybe a ski lodge in Colorado
I
somewhere.
just think it's hilarious the other names that are up here with him for all-time earnings. Like, it's hilarious.
Oh, hit him.
So first is Stafford all-time.
Yeah, that's
Second-
because he's old as dirt.
Second,
Jeez.
And has been good. Old as dirt and has stayed good.
they're all old.
NFL people will tell you that there might not have been better arm talent out of a quarterback.
Then Stafford.
Aaron Rodgers gets that from some people that we know, but Matthew Stafford, he checks the boxes.
Brady's second, and then Kirk is in 3.
Kirk is
Russell Wilson.
Wait.
amazing.
Kirk Cousins is the third highest paid player in
with
the history of the league.
Matthew Stafford and Tom Brady.
Beating out at 4, Russell Wilson, and at 5, Aaron Rodgers.
So Kirk Cousins has never been an all-pro. He's been 4-time Pro Bowler, but he's never been an all-pro, making all this money. He's 15th all-time with 298 touchdown passes. He has the 19th most passing yards of all time, but the third highest paid guy. You know, right in front of him at 18.
He's just stealing money.
Yeah. Some would argue that we are too. Not that kind of money, though. Do you know who's right in front of him?
We're not even close. Yeah,
Vacation, no. I don't know what that is.
I'm like, home. Home is enough to try
Where
and
the heart is.
pay
Babs.
for.
Home is where the heart is.
Okay.
He's 19th all-time in passing yardage. You know who's 18th? Vinny Testaverde.
Oh,
Wow. Vinny.
journeyman.
Vinny came in here one time, and they were awful, and the Titans needed a win at home to go to the playoffs, and he won. Mm-hmm. That happened. 615-737-1045. That just kind of ended that conversation, didn't it? Vinny Testaverde worked his way into the discussion.
And Dawn is not doing a vacation home in California.
Nope.
We ain't doing that.
That was way too far away.
Y'all, there was a baseball player that got
That's
scratched
right.
from the lineup yesterday. I can't wait to tell you why. Next, 3HL 1045 The Zone.
Hey, maybe now it's a little bit warmer and you're like, oh, my ear's pumping, but it's not staying in my house. Maybe it's because you need new windows and or doors. And Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville's who you need to call. I did all the research for you. This is way before I started talking about them on the radio. I spent time with like every single company around here before I had to replace my windows and doors in my rental property. And I loved Pella from the get-go, loved their staff, loved their lifetime warranties, and then their 10 10-year labor warranty, which is leading in the industry. Loved how they have the staff in place to make sure that they take care of you. And the good people, family-owned business, Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville. And they let me give you a Dawn deal. Basically, a different deal every month. And for the month of April, the Dawn deal is 55% off Pella certified labor and 0% APR for 24 months, 2 years. Plus, an additional 5% off materials. All you have to do is schedule your free consultation. Just say, yo, give me the Dawn deal. They'll take care of you, and you can do it easily online. Go to PellaNashville.com.
Go up to Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. That's where you need to go to get that next new vehicle. Maybe you've been thinking about it for a while. Now's the time to get it done this weekend. And Daniel Gupton and his crew ready to help you out. 3450 Tom Austin Highway in beautiful Springfield, Tennessee, about 30 minutes from downtown Nashville. Best vehicle buying experience you will have ever had, in my opinion. Just let those guys know what you are looking for. Maybe you need more space. Maybe you need something a little bit cheaper month to month. Whatever your needs are, let them know. They will point you in the right direction. Take your test drive. Go inside. They will help make the numbers work, and it will be that easy. Gupton Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram, 3450 Tom Austin Highway. You can check out everything online with regard to these guys, and all the deals are there. All the dealership information is there. New, pre-owned, everything they've got going right there online. GuptonMotors.com is the website. That's GuptonMotors.com. All the deals they have going on in the month of April right there online. GuptonMotors.com. 3450 Tom Austin Highway in beautiful Springfield, Tennessee, about 30 minutes from downtown Nashville. That's Gupton Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. 3HL 1045 The Zone. Just start with Stoney Keeley. He will be in. He's en route now, as a matter of fact. So we'll dive into some NFL draft stuff, Titans draft stuff. Like, what does he do second round? What does he do third round? Like, what are we looking at positionally?
Oh, and he is all in it, too. I love
Because
it.
even if you take Jeremiah Love at 4, that doesn't mean, and I think we got a little sideways the other day, and not me and you, but like with some listeners that didn't understand that, I agree with them that there are still issues up front. And even if you take a running back, that doesn't solve all your problems. My point there is you're not taking an offensive lineman at 4. You're just not. Okay? So, yes, they need help, and they probably will take, well, I started to say multiples. Probably will take multiples in the offensive line. They still need competition at center. They need a right guard, starting right guard.
Yeah.
There are all these rumors about J.C. Latham and where they might stand with him.
Center, right?
That's what I'm saying. Like I think they probably feel like they brought in a guy that can start, but that's why I said competition at the very least at center. Mm-hmm. But you need a starting right guard. What do they think about J.C. Latham? You need a left tackle beyond this year. Skoronski's kind of the piece, right? Like that you feel good about. And I feel okay about J.C. Latham, but no telling what he was dealing with last year from an injury perspective. And they've moved him around twice in 2 years, so we'll see. But even if you take, so let's say if you take Jeremiah Love 4, what do you do in the second round? You need edge rusher. You need interior offensive line. They probably will take a wide receiver at some point, but I feel like they feel like that they kind of like their wide receiver room at this point. But certainly could add and get
they're
better.
At least in a spot where they can draft one at third or fourth round or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would you feel comfortable with that?
Oh yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
it all depends on how the draft falls and who's sitting there, but
edge, interior offensive line. Mm-hmm. I mean, what do they think about Latham? Because if they're not in the Latham business, then you need another right tackle. Cornerback, I feel like they addressed starters at least, but you need depth there.
What is your take on Latham? I know a lot of people are disappointed.
I like him personally.
I do too.
And I think he can be
him.
good, yeah. I just wonder what they think about him.
Do you like where he is, position-wise, where they moved him?
Yeah.
Where he is now? Yeah. Okay.
Let's give him another offseason.
We can talk to Stoney about that a little bit, too. And with wide receivers in this draft. Do you feel like the wide receivers are getting, like, zero love in this draft class? I mean, compared to years past?
Nice use of the word love.
Jeremiah Love 4.
Carnell Tate is interesting because, like, if he's the number one receiver off the board, he also ran, what did he run, a 4.53 at the combine?
He's
got all kinds of production. I get that part, but
I also feel like he's not talked about like your number one wide receiver in a draft class would be.
I think that's a great question for Stoney, too.
Yeah.
Where are we with wide receivers? Like, in terms of typical year, you know?
Yeah.
They probably...
Is it down?
They probably need an inside linebacker to go next to Cedric Gray.
Yeah.
Depth at corner. Maybe another safety. So, they've got 9 picks. We'll see. 615-737-1045. Zach Lyons put this out. Every time I read something about Jeremiah Love from either draft media members or anonymous execs/coaches/scouts, they call him either the best player or one of the 2 or 3 best players in this draft. And Titans fans/media don't want that. That's kind of a blanket statement at the end because I think a lot of Titans fans and media do agree with the Jeremiah Love idea at 4.
Mm-hmm.
That is where I am. I'm guessing by Zach's tweet, that's where he is.
Mm-hmm.
You're good with Love at 4.
Great with it.
Where are you,
But I'm
Ross?
also good if they don't go him and they go edge position.
Just not Bain.
Just not Bain. I don't want Bain.
Did y'all see that? Was it Zach that was talking about the stat? His arms, like the length of his arms has been the complete issue for him.
Yeah.
But they talked about how he's kind of positionless. Like he's not big enough to be a defensive tackle. He's not long enough to be a defensive end. So what does he end up being? Like, I think Titans angle aside, I think Ruben Bain's going to be a fascinating little case study for guys coming up with short arms in the future. You know what I mean? Like, because if he has success, then that'll open the door for some other guys that might be faced with that kind of criticism as well. But yeah, I don't know about Ruben Bain Jr. either. And during the season, I was all in on him. And so
I was too. And Ramon will sit there and go at you too about like the measurement part of it and watch the tape, the film never lies and whatever else. But I would be better if it wasn't in the back 1 percentile.
Oh, that's where I was going.
It's that bad.
So I think
from a measurement standpoint.
It was either top 10 edge guy or defensive lineman or first round. I can't remember, but you have to go back to 1999 to see somebody with shorter than 31-inch arms.
Yeah.
At that position to go.
That's a
99.
long time. Ron Slay was a freshman at Tennessee.
That's right.
Just to give you perspective on that.
615-737-1045 is the number, 615-737-1045. Women's Final Four tonight, all in. Final Four coming up tomorrow. What are the latest point spreads? I haven't looked in a while because they typically don't change all that much when you get this deep into the tournament, because I think people in that world just kind of at this point have their power numbers set to what these teams are. But Illinois, UConn, Illinois is favored by 1.5. I like UConn in that game. Slay likes UConn in that game. Money line, UConn to win. Plus, I think they just have that. And this happens in sports. Y'all know it. Y'all both played collegiate sports. If you have a weird thing happen that gives you success where you thought you were going to lose, you immediately start thinking it's meant to be. Right? You're looking for things like that. So UConn, you're going to get the best out of them. Sorry to keep bringing that up, but I mean, we're covering sports, and that's
what we do.
I think that's a big factor in this game. Now, Illinois, really, really good. They are. All the bitches. You looked at me funny.
All the what?
All the international players that they have. And then you've got the 2 1 seeds, Michigan and Arizona.
Please.
Yes, Vitch. Michigan is a 1.5-point favorite in that game, too. So you basically have 2 pick'em games. And I like Arizona in that game. By the way, Tracy Wolfson does this every year when she gets to the Final Four.
Yeah.
She takes a picture with, like, the tallest dude on one of the teams. And
tradition continues.
It was 7'3" next to her.
I witnessed the Taco Fall picture way back when.
You did?
Yeah, because I was there to open practice.
How tall was he?
7'9".
Ooh. They catch a
Crazy.
niner in there?
Yeah.
I mean, how tall is Tracy?
Tracy's like at their
I think they
obliques.
might list her at 5'3", but I don't think she's 5'3".
No, I think she's closer to 5'1". She's considerably shorter than I am. She's a little fireball.
We've been around her several different times at Super Bowl Radio Row, SEC Media Day. She hung out with us one day. Johnny Manziel was there that day.
She's awesome.
The best.
Awesome. And then I ran into her, my buddy J.R. Hand, and a bunch of us went to Green Bay Packers Chicago Bears game, a Sunday night game at Lambeau Field. And so we check into the hotel, which is on site, and Green Bay is incredible. If you ever get a chance to do it, it really is. Like, you hear people say, well, it's like you're rolling through looking for the stadium. It's a bunch of ranch houses, and then bam. And that's really the way it is. But we check into the hotel, then we go out, and everybody's tailgating. And it's funny because, like, that's viewed as one of the more hated rivalries in sports, right? Like Packers-Bears. But the Packers fans that we were around, and all my guys were wearing Bears stuff, were so nice and invited us into their tailgates and all this stuff. So food, drinks, all this stuff. So at one point, this guy goes, "Hey, we have on-field passes. Who wants to go? We got to go now." I'm like, "Let's go."
In?
So the first time I walked into Lambeau Field, we walked straight down the steps and onto the field. And it's one of those places where you can feel the history. And it was cold and it was perfect. And we were down there. And I look over and I was like, "Oh, there's Tracy Wolfson." I go, "Tracy!" So she comes over and she's like, "What in the hell are you doing here?" I was like, "I don't know, man." I said yes to a trip. But yeah, she's a tiny person. But yeah, you were saying the other day you feel like she's maybe the best at that.
I do. I really think she does a phenomenal job. Like the way she words and crafts questions and develops relationships and all of that. I mean, she's been doing it forever. God, do you remember she was the SEC sideline reporter for years?
With Vern.
Like
Uncle
way
Vern.
back in the day.
She calls him Uncle Vern.
Yeah.
She's listed at 5'2".
Okay. I was going to say,
I'd take that.
she is way shorter than I am.
I don't think she's 5'2", Babs. But anyway, yeah.
You think she's shorter?
Yeah. Here's the picture. I mean, it pops up immediately. 7'6" Taco Fall and 5'2" Tracy Wilson.
He was 7'6"?
Mm-hmm.
6'7", 7'6".
Yeah. 615-737-1045. How much do you guys like? I'm a college football guy first, but obviously I love all the sports. That's why, you want to do this job. And you want to talk about all the sports because I would be doing this with my buddies anyway, whether it was into a microphone or just, calling people and talking. But so very fortunate, very blessed. But I was always college football first, then NFL. But I was telling Slay the other day, like, as I get older, year to year, I fall more in love with college basketball. I'm still not there with the NBA because I think part of the NBA's issue right now, maybe it's not an issue. I don't know. I don't pay as much attention as I once did. But
in the NBA?
Yeah, I grew up in the 80s, watching Bird and Magic and Jordan. And people didn't move around.
Webb.
Yeah, and people didn't move around all the time. Barkley, Clyde Drexler, Hakeem Olajuwon. I mean, you can go on and on.
I mean, it's a very different game.
Yeah, and it wasn't, we used the word earlier talking about the way college sports is now, but, transient. People weren't as transient back then. They did move around a little bit, but not like, so you did have team rivalries. Mm-hmm. So, Bulls, Pistons, Lakers, Celtics, 76ers, Knicks, like you had all these things. And so it's a little different now. So people that grew up in that era, and the sport was different too. It was tough, dude. The Jordan rules, he was going the hole, he was going down, and he knew it.
Yeah.
None of this no-play defense thing.
That never happened. That's one of the main things I hate about NBA now.
Yeah. When we get into the playoffs.
A lot more defense. Then you see it.
You see it. When you get to the better teams. Maybe that's a product
because the season's too dang long.
Yeah, but when you get to the better teams going against each other and the competition level and everything, it's just a little different. And I will get involved in. But I have found myself loving college basketball more year to year.
Yeah.
Now. I know in the South, like college baseball has turned a corner with a lot of people. Mm-hmm. Man, the attendance at SEC Stadium. Really cool. 615-737-1045. Mitchell is in Nashville. Mitchell, what's up?
Nothing much. How are y'all?
Good.
Good. How are you?
Doing good. Sorry, I'm probably late to the game on this, but just got out of work and ended up seeing a post. Trump's wanting to do 1 year without penalty of transferring and 5 years and you're out. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, 5 years to play
5 years
five.
to play 5, yeah.
But one transfer without penalty. I don't know, honestly. Like, it's an executive order, but thank you, Mitchell, for the call. But I don't know what impact that really has. Like, can he just blanketly do that? I don't think so.
Well, he can, but then all the lawyers are going to have a heyday with the executive order. It's going to go to court. They're going to put a stop on it. And basically, at the end of the day, we're probably going to be right back to where we were. So
I think a lot of people would agree 5 to 5. You know what I mean? 5 years to play five, and that's it.
All the college football coaches that I've talked to over the last year
Yeah.
want that.
Whether you actually play 4 of the 5 or you play 5 of the 5. Whatever happens, that's just a blanket thing.
Yep.
No medical red shirt, no nothing.
5 to play 5.
I can see that one. I don't know about the one transfer with no penalty thing. That's a lot. That is putting the toothpaste back in the tube. And I don't know how you do that.
That goes back to what y'all were talking about earlier, though. I don't mind the transferring, but more than one time gets a lot with some of these guys. You got guys transferring somewhere every year. It's just, that's got to stop.
615-737-1045. Darrington out east. Darrington, what up?
One, I have to say that, Mayor, I thank you for being – I've lived in Nashville. I've been living 39 years, and I can honestly say that unofficially, officially, you are the greatest mayor to ever be in Nashville, Tennessee. Voted or non-voted, you will always be my mayor.
I was not elected to this position.
Listen, if you build it, they will come. Damn it, Mayor, you built it.
Thanks.
Another thing, I have to give you a special happy belated birthday.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
Then yesterday, and Don, you said something, and for you to be so young and to say this, I want to let you know, you said this yesterday, and it touched my heart, and I want to say this to acknowledge it, and I don't want to break down again, because when you said it yesterday, I cried for like 7 minutes, because I have never heard a woman say it, and you said it, and it was just, I've been playing it on repeat ever since then, and I just want to say I thank you for that, because 9 times out of 10, you'll never ever hear the words of a woman. It was only 2 words. Well, actually, it was 3. And you said, verbatim, I quote, I was wrong. Cool, Lord,
Cut him off.
Right then, right there.
Cut him off.
You don't hear it. And for you to be so young and to be able to say that, still in your 20s to say something like that, that could be a lesson for these other people out there. Women, pay attention.
Well,
someone that's young already has the goal to say that they was wrong.
Darrington, get out of here.
I'm just saying. And then lastly but not least, I wouldn't be a Nashville if I didn't say this. The Grizzlies are finally coming home. And if you're from Memphis, so what? Suck it up, Buttercup. The king is spoken.
Thank you, D.
That's
man.
Awesome.
I'm going to tell you.
Did you see? I mean, the LeBron comments about Memphis
and
have blown up.
It's not just LeBron.
No, he said it's everybody.
I found a reel where it's like KD, Draymond Green, like all of these players, like in a compilation about how Memphis is the worst place to go in the NBA. Hotels suck. I'm like, why does the hotel suck? The opposing team stays in the Westin, right?
Yeah.
Which is right across the street. Now, somebody said that they got robbed walking back from the game to the Westin. So maybe they've moved hotels where they can bring the team in on a bus. I don't know. But, yeah, I sent it to y'all in the chat. It's a compilation of a bunch of NBA people talking about Memphis.
Yeah, I saw that.
And how they should move the team to Nashville. Can you imagine? Man, Memphis would go to war. They come up here and take that team back.
Oh, my gosh, that would be ugly.
Darrington, not only did she say that yesterday.
Stop.
But
if you put it on a hot key, I will take all of you down.
Well, you've
Ross,
already done it before.
Guy.
That's not the first time you've said that on this show, and I think it is on a hot key from back in the day. But not only did she say she was wrong yesterday, she also said, Mayor, you're right, I'm wrong. We'll be right back. 3HL 1045 this home. Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply. These are your guys. You better start thinking about that lawn, that yard. DickensSupply.com, the website. Trey Hartsook is here with more. Trey, what's going on this time of year, man?
Hey, Brett, such an exciting time of year here, spring, Middle Tennessee. Stuff's starting to bloom. The forsythia's out, the cherry trees. Everything's looking really good. Don't forget to take care of that lawn. At Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply, we make it as easy as possible to get you to have the best lawn in the neighborhood. We know people are going to start coming out. They're going to want to see your yard, see what you got going on, and you can take all the credit. We don't even want the credit. You can just say, hey, I did all this on my own without any help. We're fine with that. But if you trust us at Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply to follow our easy turf plan that we do, we just say, hey, once a month do this, once a month do that. make it as easy as possible. Stop in and see us. We'd love to have you have the best lawn in your neighborhood. Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply. We're conveniently located all over Middle Tennessee. Got locations in Nashville, Hendersonville, Murfreesboro, Bellevue, Brentwood, Lamar, Mount Juliet, and Franklin. If you can't get a hold of us, check us out online, DickensSupply.com.
What's happening, y'all? You can get the right body. All you got to do is get the Shoney's in the springtime, so why wouldn't you go there? Beautiful tourney basketball is going on. Delicious food is what you crave, and that's what Shoney's will deliver. Always fresh, always delicious. So head into Shoney's all-you-can-eat fresh food bar for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. You can order a delicious meal from their extensive menu. The Shoney's All-American Burger is a go-to. And understand this. You can't leave out of there without getting that Shoney's iconic, world-famous hot fudge cake. I would advise get an extra little scoop of vanilla ice cream right there on the side. Or get that signature strawberry pie and get a little side ice cream on that side. If you don't feel like cooking at home, you can let Shoney's do it because everything on the menu can be ordered online from your favorite delivery app. I also love that Shoney's hosts true to their values, family-friendly service, and it's always Southern hospitality with a little twist. Feeding more like groups of 4, 6, 8, or 12. Enough for your next family get-together or that college basketball game. 4 locations you can visit in Middle Tennessee, Clarksville, Dixon, Lebanon, and on Donaldson Pike in Nashville. Shoney's, let's eat.
HL 104.5, the Zone. Britt Doherty, Don Davenport with you. Hope you're having a great Friday. Got big plans this weekend, Babs?
Big plans?
Yeah.
Easter Bunny's coming.
Easter Bunny.
Maybe a little church. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
And shout out to our Gigi. Today is her birthday. Happy birthday to our sweet Gigi. That is Mr. Babs' mom.
Aw.
Yes.
Becky.
Baby Babs made her the most precious card ever, too. It's a stick figure drawing of her and Gigi holding hands together.
I thought her birthday was yesterday because Travis put something on Facebook yesterday.
Maybe it was just... I don't know. But listen, she came over to the house today and I was like, happy birthday, Gigi.
Okay, well, that works then.
So we're celebrating tonight.
That works.
By the way, you want to take the show for the 5 o'clock hour? You and Stoney, we'll just get out here. You guys can handle it.
You and Stoney.
Ross?
Feel tired?
I mean,
yeah.
I feel like anybody could run drive the ship with a P with Stoney in here. Not to diminish your talent and skill level there, Ross.
Well, I was going to say, you want to leave it to me and him?
I mentioned this a little bit ago. Speaking of baseball, did you see the story of, speaking of baseball, I wasn't speaking of baseball. Let me reset. Welcome back in 3HL 1045 The Zone. Ross, you're immensely talented and can do the 5 o'clock hour, although we love doing what we do, so we will stick around and hang out for one more hour this week. Tony Vitello started his Major League managerial career with 3 straight losses. I watched the 4th game. They were playing in San Diego. They were leading 3-0, and they said San Francisco's leading 3-0 in the 9th inning. They said if the Giants lose this game, it'll be the first 0-4 start since 1958.
Oh, bless his heart.
And I was like, oh, bless it. Come on, Tony V, let's go. And so he starts his starting pitcher went great, 2 hits through 7 innings or 6 innings, and then pitcher in the 7th inning, pitcher in the 8th inning, goes to the closer in the 9th. Can't throw a strike. Walks the leadoff hitter. Then gets a strikeout on a questionable call, so 1 out. Then another out, I think a pop-up. Then with 2 outs, up 3-0, home run, 3-2. So then they get the win, and so he gets off the offer there. They've now won 3 out of 4. San Francisco. So let's go Tony V. They play the Mets tonight at 9:15 if you want to check them out. Speaking of baseball, did you guys see the story of the Royals catcher who got scratched from the lineup? He overslept.
Oh, no. Wait a second. What time was his call time?
What was the game?
I love that she goes call time. Like she's this. Oh, you are an actor. You get a check ever so often, right?
I do. My last check, you guys, listen to this. So for people that don't know, you remember the show Nashville?
Yeah.
I was in an episode of the show Nashville. I played a reporter.
Wow. I mean,
big stretch.
Listen, the acting chops on this one.
Yeah.
The wide range of skill set.
I played a reporter on the red carpet for the CMA Awards.
Which you've done before.
Which I've actually worked the red carpet for.
You and Neil
ABC.
working the red carpet was something.
Oh, that was something because I would come in with like 8 million note cards because when you're on the red carpet, you never know who's actually going to come up and talk to you.
That's right.
And you never know who you're going to get. Like you have an idea of like some of your regulars or people you're friends with, that you have a relationship with, that they'll stop by, right? But sometimes you just never know. So I would prep like every single country star that might come across our way. And
you can only control how prepared
exactly.
you are. That's it.
And Orrin would just show up.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, got your note cards this year? I was like, you damn right I do. I've got every single one. And he was like, good. Way to cover for us. I was like, okay.
Talking about working without a net, that dude.
But he was so good at it that he could get away with that. Yeah. He didn't have to do,
He's very personable and he's very disarming.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I get cast in this role and my speaking part is considerable, right? It's like the beginning of the episode, I'm on the red carpet. My speaking part was, I would say probably like 2 paragraphs.
Wow.
I don't do scripted very well. And here's the other thing. So my call time was like 6 a.m. and I get my scripts the night before.
Ugh.
So of course I'm like, I don't memorize them, because I got them the night before.
And they want you to.
Super late.
This goes back to what I was talking about with Billy. Writers want what they write in there.
So, you know me, I just get up there. I'm like, oh, I'll just ad-lib some of it. Like, just make sure that oh, no. They were not happy with my ad-libbing. They're like, no, you need to read the script.
Yeah.
Like this, let me just
why I
say,
asked that question.
I called my brother right afterwards and I was like,
Who is an actor. Feature film actor.
I was like, dude, I didn't even get my lines till last night. And he was like, yeah. And I was like, and then they got mad at me because I kind of ad-libbed him. He's like, well, yeah.
Dang.
I'm like, your world is different, man. I'm like, I don't know about this.
So
world.
what did you have to do? Did they end up feeding you your lines?
No, I
memorized it
said,
real
okay,
quick.
give me a second, and then memorized them, and it was fine.
I'm awful at that. I'm like you. Give me the main theme of what we're doing, and then we'll figure it out.
Yeah. And who was my so the guy Eric, what's his name?
Yeah.
He was in the show, but he was also the director or whatever, Eric Close. And so,
yeah.
And could not have been nicer. He was the sweetest. Like, he just smiles all the time, even though I'm sure he was like, listen, woman, just get your damn lines right, you know? But he was amazing. So he was the actual director of my scene in that moment, and he could not have been nicer. He's the best. So anyway, long story short, I still get residual checks. That was back in 13 maybe?
It's been a while.
2015.
I think Kelly Sutton did some stuff too.
She did, yeah. So her residual checks are probably a lot more than mine because I did one episode. That was it. They never asked me back.
No.
Never got back after that one. I still get texts from friends that are like, hey,
just saw you in
here's
Nashville.
a picture of you on Nashville. So my last residual check that I got like 2 weeks ago, I still get them in the mail on a paper check because most people, have the automatic into your bank account. It was 12 cents.
Oh, my Lord.
12 cents, y'all. Like, every time one comes in the mail, Mr. Babs and I are like, oh, let's make bets on how much it is.
Over, under.
Yeah.
27 cents.
Now, there was a time where it was very popular, like downloads and streaming of Nashville was very popular overseas because it lists, like, where your money comes from, And there was one time that I got a residual check for like $31, and it was overseas downloads.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, heck yeah, come on. So yeah, that was something. Like I said, I never got asked back.
Well, hopefully Carter Jensen will get asked back. He was removed.
So what time was their game?
I'll tell you. He was removed from the Royals starting lineup for Thursday's game against the Twins after he overslept. Quote, and this is a 22-year-old rookie catcher who is starting for them. I didn't wake up to my alarm, slept through it. Don't really have an excuse, nor should I. It sucks. It happens. I feel like I let my teammates down, my coaches down. Just learn from it and know it will never happen again. He eventually arrived, but not early enough to prepare adequately, according to the manager. And my guess is, no, dude, you weren't here. I don't care what your preparation is. You ain't playing today. So one of his teammates said, and this is interesting because I didn't think about it until I read this part of it. But Salvador Perez said, first and foremost, I'm glad Carter's okay. Like, they were worried about.
Yeah.
They were trying to call him, and he wouldn't. Like, he didn't get it. He didn't get the phone call. Maybe he was on, vibrate or whatever. I don't know. He goes, I mean, that was kind of the initial thought when you're trying to get a hold of his parents and everything like that. Just make sure he's okay. He said there are some things that cannot happen, and that's one of them. The manager said, so he's going to have to wear it on the chin, same way anybody would have to. It can't happen. Hopefully it doesn't happen again, but it's one of those things that you just can't afford mistakes like that in this game. Just got to move forward the best he can. I know he feels really bad. So the game was at 1:10 p.m.
Stop.
What time do you think that they would have to get there? 9, somewhere in there?
BP and all that?
Yeah. Probably 9 or 10.
Probably 10, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably 10. Dude, I mean, that's not even like nap time. Like Slay will get up early but he always takes a nap at like 11 or something,
If he
that's not
overslept,
even
it would
nap
be from
time.
that.
Yeah. What was his response?
He was in Minneapolis, the same place Billy is at. Maybe they went out together. Billy Gardell.
Oh, boy.
I wonder how scared that dude was for the night before the next game.
Dude, can you imagine waking up and seeing what time it was?
Oh.
And you're like, I'm a rookie in the major leagues. Dude, they can easily move on from me.
I have felt that during a spring volleyball, like 6 a.m. conditioning practice.
You ever oversleep?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
It's
because
scary.
I didn't live. So my sophomore year, I lived with my sorority sisters on the sorority hall at Auburn. So I didn't live with volleyball players. So, you don't have a teammate being like, yo, get up.
You overslept in football at Wheaton?
I'll tell you during the break because it was bad.
Oh, no.
One day, yeah, it was bad.
All right, Stoney Keeley in studio coming up. Stay tuned. We'll talk Titans football, the NFL draft. We'll get deep into it. Next, 3HL 1045 The Zone.
What is happening? Good people. BrentwoodJewelry.com is where you need to head to. Why? Because it's exceptional style, and the deals are exceptional, and it's been every single day for over 50 years, so why would you not? Go in there physically at 7012 Church Street East, located in the heart of Brentwood, right there off of Franklin Road. It's right down the little hill. As soon as you go down the little hill, bust that quick left. It's right there. It's the Brown Building. Settle over there in the little cubby hole. But guess what? Oh, they got some big gems in there. I'm telling you, you want to go in there and just browse. Check it out. Tell them we sent you and watch the love you get. Even if you don't tell them we sent you, just go in there knowing we sent you and you're going to get love. Engagement rings, bracelets, watches, whatever it is. And when it comes to watches, remember they are the premier timepiece dealer right here in Nashville. And not only do they have the best selections, but they got the pre-owned Rolexes, vintage, or current models. So hurry up. Go in there. Matter of fact, pick up your handheld device and go to BrentwoodJewelry.com.
Good afternoon, live from the Circus Sports at the Mint Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Ross Johnston. It is Final Four weekend in college hoops as we have the women's games tonight in Phoenix starting at 6 o'clock with South Carolina taking on UConn, followed by Texas and UCLA facing off at 8:30 as all 4 teams are the 1 seeds from their respective regions. Tomorrow in men's Final Four action, 3-seed Illinois takes on 2-seed UConn in Indianapolis. Tip-off is set for 5:09 p.m., followed by a battle of the 1 seeds in Michigan and Arizona. Tip-off for that one is set for 7:49 p.m. Both of these games will broadcast on TBS, TNT, and True TV. In Vol basketball news, junior forward Cade Phillips will be entering the transfer portal per On3 Sports. Phillips started in 9 games for the Vols last year until being ruled out for the season after shoulder surgery. Lastly, Duke freshman Cameron Boozer was named the AP Player of the Year, marking back-to-back years for a Duke freshman to win the award, with Cooper Flagg winning in 2025. For all your foundation repair and your waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
HL 104.5 The Zone. 5 o'clock hour is here on a good Friday in the Music City. Brent Doherty with you on a beautiful day in the Music City. Hope you're having a great Friday. It's going to be a great Easter weekend. And Dawn Davenport is here, y'all.
Hey. Happy Friday, party people.
Party people. Party people in the house.
Yeah.
Executive producer of 3HL is Zeph. Zeph is out. Ross Johnstone is here.
That's right.
No intro for Ross.
Yeah, Slay will be here on Monday. You can check him out on Sunday. He'll have microphone work for the dunk contest and three-point shootout. So Slay will be on the ESPN properties for that. Ross does not have an intro, but our in-studio guest, Stoney Keeley, does. Stoney.
There we go.
Oh, my gosh. That is the most WWE intro I've ever heard.
It is, yeah. They did a fantastic job. I never get tired of hearing it. We can just roll that for the next hour, and I'd be happy. Talking about the puzzles and the candles, I am going to enjoy some tonight because I was just telling Brent, Don, that we got our draft guide at stackingtheinbox.com pretty well wrapped up. 284 players evaluated. The tape study is done. I've written all my reports. I've put my list of hidden gems together, Titans fits, my favorite tape that I've watched this cycle. It's all shipped off to the printer and should be out shortly. So I'm looking forward to propping my feet up a little bit tonight.
So how do people get a hold of this?
Stackingtheinbox.com. That's where all of my writing about the Titans, about the NFL draft is up there on Substack. So check it out. And I tweet about it all the time. So if you follow me on Twitter, at Stoney Keeley, there's not too many Stoney Keeleys out there, thankfully. So I'm pretty easy to find. And all my work's up there, too.
You tweet about lots of things. Candles being one of them.
Yeah. Memes, whatever. Food. Doesn't matter. Whatever's on my mind. I don't know if that's a good thing either, but.
Might know Stoney from the work that he has done here on 104.5 The Zone. Also, Football and Other F Words podcast with Zach Lyons and Stoney Keeley. You guys have a good time doing that.
Yeah, it is. Man, we got into the weeds on last night's episode. We had a whiteboard up. We were scenario planning.
I saw the picture of the whiteboard.
Yeah,
Slay loves a whiteboard.
We were kind of getting into the weeds a little bit with the first 3 rounds of this draft for the Titans.
We'll get Titan specific in just a little bit, but Babs had a great question. Like, where does this wide receiver group stack up to most years?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I heard Todd McShay say this a few weeks ago, and on the surface it sounds crazy, but he said this is the deepest wide receiver class I've ever studied.
Really?
And
it doesn't feel that way.
There's not a lot of talent at the top of the class.
That's why.
Okay.
Yeah. But
that can mask some things, right?
We're prepping our draft guide, and we're trying to make sure all of the deserving, worthy players get in the draft guide. And I'm going through guys like, okay, well, this guy's really good. Well, this guy's really good. And the next thing I know, I'm at 40 receivers. And I tell Zach, I'm like, we got to stop. We got to stop watching these wide receivers, or there's not going to be any safeties or linebackers in this book when we're done with it. So we eventually got to 50 guys. And of the 50 that I watched, there were only a handful, maybe 3 or 4 guys that I thought, well, he's just too small to play. Maybe he doesn't have the traits or he's really raw. But for the most part, these are guys that have specific skill sets that can play in the NFL. And it's kind of like, choose your flavor. It's like, do you need the slot receiver? There's plenty of those. Do you need the big-bodied ball winner? There's a few of those. Do you need the speed guy? Whatever you need, you can find in this class.
Because I've heard a lot of people talking about Skylar Bell from UConn, and he's number 20 on this list I'm looking at right now, just from wide receivers.
Yeah, and he's a guy that, you think he's probably a third-round pick. So we're going to get into like the 60s, and maybe 20 of those picks, a third of those picks are going to be receivers.
Wow.
That's kind of where the strength of the class is. And I think that affects the perception of it, is that maybe there's not a Justin Jefferson or a Jamar Chase or somebody like that in the class. But when you get to that second, third, and even fourth round, you're still getting difference makers. There might not be the alpha wide receiver one in the group. And maybe there is. Like, I think there's a world where Jordan Tyson, Carnell Tate, or Mekhi Lemon could become those guys, but I don't think that's where they are right now.
Who's your favorite out of those?
When
we're thinking Titans, right? We'll do it that way.
Mull this over constantly, and eventually I just kind of have to settle on the tape. It's like, because you can go down rabbit holes with any of these guys.
Yeah.
Scheme fits, injury histories, traits, speed, that sort of thing.
Tyson, injury history.
Yeah. So I come back to the tape, and I still think Jordan Tyson, if healthy, has the best tape of all three. And I think his tape is so good that if he doesn't have the injury history, he's probably a lock to be a top 5 pick in this draft class. And he is that guy that you're looking at like, okay, that's the alpha in this class. But he's missed a lot of time. I don't remember the number off the top of my head, but he's missed something like 30% of the games that he could have possibly played in throughout his entire college career.
That's significant.
We're talking about like hamstring injuries, knee injuries, collarbone injury. It's different things that kind of add up. And then it comes out a few weeks ago that he tweaks the hammy when he's training for his pro day.
Well, and that's the soft tissue stuff is what you worry about with that position. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a gamble. If you take him, there's no guarantee that he's ever going to get to the level that his tape would suggest. So if I'm sticking with the tape, I think it's the best of the three. But if you factor in you're the Titans and you're in the stage of the rebuild that they're in, where I don't think they can really afford to roll the dice on a player like that, I think Carnell Tate is probably the safest pick because he does have a nice route running skill set. He's got a pretty good stutter step. I think he separates more through finesse and how he sets defensive backs up more so than just the raw speed.
He's not going to blow past somebody.
Yeah, and it's not like, even if he gets behind a guy, those windows stay pretty tight. Like, he's not pulling away from guys down the field. So I do kind of wonder, okay, the tape is good, but is he going to be as effective in one-on-one matchups down the field in the NFL with guys that, probably aren't going to get fooled by the stutter step, or, guys that are a little more experienced that kind of know his game and understand, hey, if I'm a little patient with him, don't bite on any of the movement because he's not going to run by me. So, you factor those things into the equation, and I think it puts a cap on his ceiling.
So do you think that he'll be their second round Titans pick?
For Tate?
Yeah.
No.
No.
I think
he's gone by then. Yeah. Well, the reason I asked that is because, like, Zach and Blaine were talking about it the other day, the possible run on offensive linemen and the math. And you talk about, like, okay, well, then all of a sudden now you're at, almost 30 players that if there is that run at the offensive lineman position, because then you have teams panic because they're like, oh, crap, we need that. And now there's a run at that position. And if
there's
we don't
always a guy
do
that falls, too.
Right. And if we don't do that now, then we're in trouble.
Because
right?
To your point, Babs, and your point, like the tape, you're looking at the tape because, so how much do you weigh in the, what was it, 4.53 at the combine for Carnell Tate? Because that will throw some people off.
That will throw people off.
Yeah.
Well, and I look at it and I'm like, the Titans need speed. So I don't love that, but.
Yeah, and I think there's an attitude among scouts. I've heard many draft analysts kind of proclaim there's this attitude about this draft because of how strong and deep it is at receiver that guys are saying, I got to go get my offensive tackle.
Right.
Because that guy's not going to be there on day 2 or day 3. I got to go get my edge rusher because there's not a David Bailey that's going to be available on day 2 or day 3. I can get my wide receiver in the 2nd or 3rd round, but there are positions that we need starters at that aren't that deep in the class. If you need a defensive tackle, I don't know what you're going to do. Like, there's a handful of guys that you need. If you need an impact starter right away, you better get him while you have the chance. And it's the same with the offensive tackle group. So by virtue of that and this attitude that, well, we'll just kick wide receiver on down the line, I think there's a real possibility that there could be a slide. And then night 2 is when we're going to see, maybe it's the Titans, somebody is going to start that run.
Well, I was going to ask you, Casey Concepcion, Denzel Boston, Jeremy Bernard, let's say those 3 are available, and I tell you that they take a wide receiver. You already know they take a wide receiver in the 2nd round. Which one of those 3 would you like for this offense?
To speak to the depth of the class, I'd be happy with any of them. Okay. But if I'm picking between those 3, oh man, it's interesting because they're all 3 very different receivers too. I'm a huge fan of Denzel Boston. Like, I'm trying to be really disciplined and responsible about where I rank him because I'm like, there's a world where I think we look up 2 or 3 years from now and he's the best receiver to come out of this class.
Okay.
Really?
I think
what do you love about him?
The speed questions are kind of deceptive. I don't think he looks very fast on tape because he's not pulling away from guys. Like, there's not a lot of those like splash plays where he's just running by a guy. But when you dig into it, there's a lot of plays where he separates, gets like 2 yards on a defensive back, but then the ball's underthrown, so he has to come back to the play, and it looks like a contested catch situation when really, if the ball had been, if the ball had been out in front of him, it would have been a touchdown. So I think he's really clean getting in and out of his breaks. He moves really well for a guy of his frame. Those are 2 underrated traits of his. But then there's the stuff that everybody seems to remember about Boston, seems to know about him. And it's the big frame. It's the length. It's his ability to win at the catch point, contested catch situations. I think he's one of the more complete receiving prospects in the class. And if he's there at 35 and that's the selection, I would be doing cartwheels.
So we fell in love with, you were talking about small guys or whatever and how deep the receiver class is, but we fell in love with this guy at SEC Media Days, and that's Mississippi State wide receiver Brendan Thompson.
Yeah.
Who was electric with his 40 time at the combine. What do you think about? You talk about guys on tape outrunning and running away from people.
It's sick.
Slay said not too long ago, if he doesn't get hurt against Tennessee doesn't beat Mississippi State.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the eval on Brennan Thompson, it's kind of singular.
He's tiny.
He's small, but he's speed, and that's kind of the I don't want to say the gimmick, like that's his signature. That's his calling card. That's what he does best. I think there are aspects of actually playing receiver, the route running and stuff like that are kind of a little more raw. I think he's a little more developmental. But if you're a team that has your number 1, has your number 2, and you're looking for kind of a complementary piece to the back end of your room that you can put in special packages, special plays for, designed to just get him vertical, I think he can be a weapon. I also think there's a little bit of an injury history with him, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was 2024, maybe. I can't recall, but he's kind of bounced around to a couple of different schools.
Oklahoma, Texas.
Yeah, so, teams are going to do their digging on the person, obviously. Right. I don't have a lot of insight into that, but just from the tape alone, it's like at that stage in the draft, you're starting to look for traits that a guy has. What is he going to do that is going to get him on the field in the NFL? And that's a guy that has that. He has that speed that can just run right by a guy. So you never know.
What do you think about Chris Brazzell from Tennessee?
I like Brazzell quite a bit as well. I mean, he's another one of those guys. For some reason, there's something funky going on with Brazzell as we get closer to the draft where, like, PFF kind of moved him down their big board into the 60s somewhere. And
he's 6'5", 200, but put up incredible numbers at the combine.
Big, long guy.
With this Tennessee wide receiver thing, though, with Heupel.
I don't want to course correct too far, but I do think that Josh Heupel's offense evolved quite a bit in 2025. There was a lot of Brazel's tape where he was doing more quote unquote wide receiver things, running different routes, being more of a technician than I think those guys are given credit for. He's got the length to win at the catch point. He's got really good speed for a guy that tall, and that frame. The frame is the only question mark for me because I think he could stand to put on a little bit of weight. There are times when he kind of gets bumped around at the line of scrimmage and it throws him off balance and it takes him a few steps to recover. And then the timing's off and he's not where he needs to be when he needs to be there for the ball to arrive. But, I mean, you're talking about the overall resume. It's pretty strong. And I think people still have the Jalen Hyatt Tennessee Vols offense in their head, and it's just not the same. It's evolved since then.
Stoney Keeley with us. More when we come back. We'll jump into you and Rhett Bryan were the first people that I heard talk about Jeremiah Love at 4, and this was a while ago, and it was on this show actually. You were filling in that day when you asked Rhett about it. But I want to jump back and get your take now as we sit here less than 3 weeks away and then go from there, talk about second round possibilities. Stoney Keeley in studio, Brent Doherty, Don Davenport, Ross John Stone is producing. We'll be right back. 3HL 104.5 The Zone.
What's happening, y'all? Vita Nova, the staff you've grown to love. Yes, they're online and ready for you. Vita Nova stem cell professionals are here, right here in Middle Tennessee. Dr. Miller and his staff, over 30 years of experience and are the leaders in stem cells and regenerative medicine located right here in Franklin. A lot of people wondering, can I have to live with this pain? I don't want to do surgery. Well, this is what you do. This is when you dial in and go to Vita Nova. It's simple, people. You want that pain to be gone. You don't want to get up under the knife. You don't want to have an anesthesia, be put to sleep, none of that. Well, that's where they come in. Avoid or delay the surgery when possible. Reduce the dependence on pain medications. Improve mobility and daily function. Call them for a free consultation, 615-801-8005. That's 615-8001. That's a lie. 615-801-8005. Visit VitaNovaTN.com and get your free consultation today.
3HL 1045, the Zone Brent Doherty, Don Davenport with you on a Good Friday here in the Music City. Stoney Keeley in studio, went through wide receivers randomly there.
Yeah, well, I mean, we got like 45 more to go through if y'all want to.
Oh.
Deep class.
I think we're okay.
I'll wait for the book.
We can talk about.
I'll wait for the draft.
We can talk about Jalen Waltall out of Incarnate Word.
Uh-oh. Everybody knows Incarnate Word now, thanks
That's
to Cam
true.
Ward.
Yeah, that's not the deep cut that it used to be.
Stackingtheinbox.com.
That's right.
The draft guide coming out soon.
Yeah, working
So
a lot.
We were talking to Greg Cosell, obviously one of the best film evaluators in the business, and he was talking about his process, and he's like, I can't just sit there and watch the same position.
He has to bounce around.
Over and over. He's got to bounce around. He was like, otherwise everything just looks the same to me.
You start kind of keying in on well, this guy is really good. He's got really fluid hips. The hip turn is great. And then the next guy you watch, you're like, well, how are his hips?
Right.
And then the guy after that, well, and you start missing things that they do well because you start. Everybody starts
without even meaning to.
Yeah, without even meaning to. So I do the same. I can't do I go through 4 players and then I'm like, I got to watch a tight end or a linebacker or something like that.
Yeah. That's how he is. That's
well, you were in here filling in, and we had Rhett Bryan on, and you asked him what he thought about a potential person we weren't thinking about at 4, and he brought up Jeremiah Love, and then you guys got in a conversation about how much you love Love, and then now it's just wildfire. But where are you? We're less than 3 weeks away. Where are you with pick number 4?
Well, first of all, if they do end up selecting Jeremiah Love, that's going to be a huge plus for the brand. So I'm very selfishly rooting for that. I told you guys. I'm still on Jeremiah Love.
Yeah.
And it's always been about the value of the draft, of where the draft is strongest and the needs of the Titans. So they need a wide receiver. Well, it's really deep receiving group. You can get a guy late day 2, day 3 that's going to be a contributor at the next level. They need edge help. This is a really good edge class. They like their cornerbacks with super tall with super long arms. Well, there's a crop of guys deep in this class that have really long arms and that sort of thing. They're missing a presence in the tight end room that's the blocking tight end. Well, day 3, there's a whole crop of guys available there. So when you start thinking about that, it's why would they reach for need at positions that are deep in the draft when they have the opportunity to get a real blue chip player? And when I think about Jeremiah Love and his potential impact on this Titans offense, I'm not thinking about it in terms of, well, he's a running back. Because I do think the adage is true that running backs are kind of devalued these days. Most guys, you can take them on day 3. They're going to contribute. I get all that. But what you're saying about Jeremiah Love when you say that is that Jeremiah Love is one of those dudes that you take on day 3 to add to a committee. And that's just not who Jeremiah Love is. I mean, he really is a uniquely special talent. A guy like him only comes around so often. We talk about his stats. Some of his numbers line up with guys like Saquon Barkley, like Christian McCaffrey. He's used in a dual threat manner, kind of like McCaffrey was. I was trying to watch Scooby Williams, the Texas A&M linebacker, finish up the linebackers last night. And I'm watching his game against Notre Dame. And then I see Jeremiah Love just take a wheel route out in space, 20 yards up the field. The ball is thrown way off, but he just sticks a hand out and just one-hands it, stays on balance, and he's gone for a touchdown. And
he's a weapon.
Yeah,
he's not a running back.
You think about what he adds to the offense, just the fireworks. You're talking about points on the board. So it's a different bucket than just running back to me. It's lumping, let's put Carnell Tate, Jordan Tyson, Jeremiah Love. Let's put Kenyon Sadiq, the tight end out of Oregon. Let's just put them all in the same bucket. We'll slap a label on it that says playmaker and pick the best one out of it. And if you're doing that, it's Jeremiah Love and then it's everybody else. So that's why I'm still looking at what he could mean for this Titans offense. And I think he's probably the highest impact player that they could probably take at that spot.
So Daryl in the Burrow in the chat said, so Love is Kamara?
Man, I think he's better. I mean, I really do. Like, I to nitpick on Love.
He's bigger than Alvin.
Yeah, and he runs with a little more force. He's a little more he's evasive in the open field. I mean, he's an elusive guy, but I think he's more powerful than people give him credit for. I think he's kind of slippery in traffic. He's a guy that kind of shrinks through the hole. It's not that he's taking on contact. It's just he's physical and he's one of those guys that like every step he takes feels like it's probably putting a dent in the ground kind of deal. And so when he gets to the next level, he can spin out of tackles. He's very good at like navigating traffic, but there's a little more power to him. And I think there are times when he can be a little too patient behind the line, where he's kind of like sitting back there waiting for the hole to open up and he gets caught from behind. But I go through my notes, and that's legit the only negative thing I wrote about him. It was like, oh, there's a couple of plays where he gets caught from behind because his blocks aren't set up just yet. So it's a pretty clean, flawless evaluation.
Yeah.
I stylistically, I can see that from a dual threat. I think he's just a little stockier, a little more powerful. I think he's closer to Christian McCaffrey. That would be stylistically speaking. Obviously, you don't want to put those lofty expectations on a prospect, but that's kind of who I look to as what Jeremiah Love could be in the NFL.
Cosell said he could see him lining up in the slot, like as a receiver. He's that talented.
Yeah, and Notre Dame did that some. There's times I'm watching the tape, I'm like, wait a second, where did Four go? And then it's like, oh, he's out in the slot. He's about to run a route. And to think he doesn't have the best route tree, the most expansive route tree, I should say. Like there's a lot of like go routes and wheel routes and stuff like that, runs to the flat, that sort of thing. But like imagine putting a receiver skill set, teaching him how to run routes and the type of weapon that he could be. So there's still, as good as he is, I'm glad you said that, Brent, because it points to the untapped potential that he could still grow into.
Well, and the other thing is that he only had 3 games where he had 20 or more carries for Notre Dame because he was splitting time with who may be the second running back taken, Jadarian Price.
Yeah.
So a lot of people were like, well, he didn't have the production in this game or whatever. But early in the season, they were kind of going back and forth with those guys.
Yeah, and then, I mean,
Miami game plan was really weird.
Yeah,
he only
that
had
was a weird game.
4 touches late in the third quarter. Like, why?
Yeah, so, I mean, you think about, like, you're talking about the tread on the tire, which is another box you check in favor of Love, is that he's not one of these guys that he hasn't been as high volume as you might think coming into the draft. Like, we can go on down the list, and there's just so few reasons to not take him. And the reason that people seem to come up with the most is that, well, you can't pay a running back that much. And I just think it's kind of crazy to operate under these hard guidelines when there's more than one way to build a team. And that money is going to go to somebody. It's not like you're saving money to allocate resources elsewhere because there's not another playmaker of his caliber that's available, whether that's free agency or whether that's with draft capital. So it makes sense to do it.
Do you think the Titans stick at 4?
I think they will, because I just don't think this is a top-heavy enough draft for – I don't know who the candidate is that someone's going to fall in love with so much that they're going to be willing to give up draft capital to go up and get. And especially
I thought it would be Jeremiah Love that somebody would want to come up and get, like Commanders or Saints, and then, free agency happens, and so you're like, okay, well, they're out.
Yeah. And I know the popular thing now, everybody says, well, but next year's class. And now the popular thing is to make fun of that. Like, oh, well, we say that every year. But
we did say that last year.
I think there's some truth to this. Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah. But I think there's some truth to that with the 2027 class, because you hear scouts kind of rumbling about it and personnel people kind of rumbling about it, they don't want to turn loose of those 2027 draft picks. And so I think it's
that's
more,
a real thing.
Yeah.
I think it's more likely that people are just going to eat their vegetables and stick and pick, and they're going to do the best that they can in this draft.
Yeah. We were talking earlier about J.C. Latham because, listen, the offensive line is a concern, right? I know that they've done things.
Oh, yeah.
Again, we have this talk every year, and I know they've done things in free agency, but really, are we relying on two rookies / haven't played a lot? Like, what does all this look like? And then we were talking earlier in the show about J.C. Latham because there's a lot of Titans fans that are out on him.
Yeah, he's a pretty divisive player.
Yeah.
I tell you, I mean, it's the state of tackle play, and this is a rabbit hole. Y'all don't let me go down, or I'll be here the rest of the night just talking.
Lights out, just talking.
Tackle development is not where it used to be in college football. As everybody talks about the adjustment that quarterbacks have to make going from college offenses to NFL offenses, I think there's a bigger learning curve among the tackles. Guys just aren't being developed right now. And we see it at the Senior Bowl. We go down there every February, and they have these big boys out there that are like learning how to strike with their hands for the first time. Like, don't have any idea of what to do with their hands.
Why is that? Because of all the quick release stuff and the RPOs?
I don't know, Brent.
I think they're not coached anymore.
Yeah, and because Jalen Duncan is a good example of this because he was a guy that was getting heavy coaching at the Senior Bowl. But if you talk to the scouts, they were saying from a trait standpoint, they're like, if this dude figures it out, he's going to be the best offensive tackle to come out of this class when we get a few years down the road. But there's just there's a lack of development of these guys. I think part of it is like it's such a rarity to find a really polished offensive tackle in college that you just go get the biggest, fastest guy you can and you put him out there and
think you can coach him up.
Yeah.
So I say that to say with JC, he's been in the NFL for 2 seasons now.
But 2 different positions.
2 different positions. Yeah, he made the switch from right to left in the NFL and then back from left to right. But I do think that experience counts for something. And he was already a guy that I think was pretty solid coming out of Alabama in terms of the technique. Like, really looked like he understood the position, was more NFL ready. I think the questions about him coming out were like the weight, the conditioning, that sort of thing. But so I say that to say you have a guy in-house that there aren't too many guys that are as big as he is that can move the way he does. He's got the experience. He's played in the NFL. I don't know why you would want to kick him inside to guard when it's a struggle to find tackles in the draft that are NFL ready. So it's almost like people want to talk about kicking him inside to guard, and it's like, yeah, but you've got the tackle. If you kick him inside to guard, you open up a bigger hole at right tackle than you currently have at right guard.
Right.
So I'm not ruling it out because I have talked to some people that are like kind of open to the idea. It's like, no, I could see him moving to guard. I don't think he has to, but you know, maybe he has a longer career there. So I get it, but to me, it's so risky. It's such a dice roll to say, well, J.C. Latham's going to be our answer at right guard, and we can just go find a tackle somewhere because the free agent market's kind of dried up, and the draft class, right tackle is a strength of the class, but you telling me you're going to spend 4th overall? Like we're going Francis Mauigoa here? It doesn't seem like very prudent team building. I think J.C. Latham, he gets healthy, he gets a little more reps under his belt. I think he's going to be fine.
I don't know how healthy he was last year, and it's funny when. After the year at left tackle, we were at the Super Bowl and we talked to Ross Tucker and Baldy and they both said he would be better on the right side. Yeah. But it's hard to find a left tackle, right? But that he is like basically a grizzly bear mauler type guy.
Yeah.
Who would fit better on the right side. So I would think like a second year with another training camp and off season and all those things would be more beneficial to them than trying to move him inside and start over again.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, all due respect to Bill Callahan, but maybe this is a situation where it's like a change in coaching could benefit the guy too. Mm-hmm. It's like I don't know how receptive he was to his style. I'm not insinuating that I have any special insight on that. I'm just saying you see all the time guys get fresh starts and it's new motivation. It's a new sense of, excitement for the position. So, sometimes maybe change can be good in that regard too.
Stoney Keeley in studio. So second, let's say they take Jeremiah Love with the 4th pick, or number 4 pick overall.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people would be happy.
You go edge definitely at 35, or do you go positionless best player?
I don't think they're in a position to go positionless best player because of the hole along the interior offensive line.
So if Messidor's there, do you like him?
I like Messidor quite a bit. A bit of an older prospect, but he's got the toolkit. But man, I don't know. Depending on who the interior guys are there, you've got to add some talent to that room. And I know it's gonna send this town into a fit if they go running back and guard with the first 2 picks. But I could see a scenario where a guy like Emmanuel Pregnon out of Oregon falls to 35, and that's a guy that I think you could take at 35, and he's probably going to start week 1 for you at right guard. Like, that's probably the solution to your problem there. I think it's an urgent need because of
I don't hate that idea. In fact, I really like that idea.
How much the protection, the exponential impact that it has on the offense's ability to function. And I think that's where, yes, it would be nice to add playmakers, but we talked about being able to get a receiver deep. Yeah, they need edge rushers, but they've put some bodies together in free agency. That room is not as empty as it looked before, and it's also a deep edge class, so you could probably get a guy in the 3rd round. But if you're looking at high floor starting caliber guards in this class, you might have a chance at 35 to get the best one in the group, not named Venga Ioane. And whether you think that's Pregnon, whether you think that's Chase Basantis out of Texas A&M, or whether you think it's a guy like maybe even Caden Proctor who might slide, though
Alabama.
I've heard he might go a lot higher than people are expecting. But the left tackle that might kick inside to guard at the next level. Like, there are ways to address that problem where you cross that off your list. You take Pregnon out of Oregon, right guard is crossed off the list. You are good to go there. You filled a need. So I think that's where I would be leaning at 35, even if regardless of who they take it for.
Interesting idea. You sold me on it.
Yeah, I don't know how popular it's going to be. High premium picks on the offensive line again.
We've heard from people recently that like push back on Love because they're like, well, you need to fix the offensive line. What's a running back going to do? I'm like, well, potentially keep you out of 3rd and long.
Yeah, I mean, that's
give
true.
You, as Dawn likes to call him, a weapon.
Yeah,
not just a running back. But yeah, offensive guard, and then pencil in as a starter, and there you go. And then maybe Sloatman at center, and you're good. And
yeah, or you could have it, Sloatman versus Jackson Slater in camp, and may the best man win. Make somebody go earn that job, and then it buys you a little bit of time. I'm a big fan of Jackson Slater too. Like, I don't want to just discount him in this discussion.
I remember talking with you about him before the Titans even took him.
And you liked him.
Yeah, he's really good, really athletic, moves well. The impression I got from the last regime was that they kind of saw him as a developmental guy. They didn't want him to play as early in his career as he ended up playing, but and they put him in that game at the end of the season. He played all right. It wasn't bad tape at all. So I don't want to discount him, but it just seems I don't know where he's at in their plans with the coaching change.
How deep can you go and find an offensive guard to start?
Well,
can you go 3rd round and get one to start?
I think you could.
You do? That makes me so nervous.
Well, I
gives
think
me anxiety.
I think you're at a point where it's like, okay, we take Pregnon, Basantis, maybe one of the tackles that we're going to kick inside to guard. We take one of those guys at 35, they're a starter. Week 1, we know. The guy we're probably going to be able to get at 66, we're probably taking him thinking, yeah, I think he's got a shot to start pretty early.
Right, but it's a competitive situation.
Yeah, exactly. So I think you could theoretically get a guy capable of starting at that spot, but I don't know that you have the same confidence where you're scratching that off the shopping list.
So if you go offensive guard second round, the wide receiver position is so deep, you could go wide receiver in the third round.
Yeah, and that's where your Skylar Bells come into the equation. Your Ted Hurst, Bryce Lance out of North Dakota State, who I think would be a really good fit for this team as well. Like, there's still going to be some talented guys there. And if you come away with Jeremiah Love, Emmanuel Pregnon, and then a Bryce Lance or a Skylar Bell, that's a good haul. I don't know how excited people would be about it, but that's some good team building right there.
Stoney Keeley in studio. More next. 3HL 104.5 The Zone.
All right, y'all, I need to head into this place I'm about to tell you about. This is called The Joint Chiropractic. Yeah, you need to go in there because I need to go in there. If you've been moving around or you just been sitting still or you just feeling like, man, I need to get my body back to feeling right, well, this is the place for you. The Joint Chiropractic. They can take care of everything. And I mean, they got 17 locations all across Middle Tennessee. So it's not hard to find. They're open days, nights, and weekends. Whenever your back decides to act up, morning, evening, or whenever. Get in there. They're ready for you. Best part, no insurance needed, no appointments needed. You just walk right in, tell them Big Slate sent you. And check this out. For the new patients, you get the consultation, exam, and adjustment for just $29. That's cheap. I know it is. And after that, adjustments start as low as $21. That deal right there deserves everything that it's giving. Headaches, back pain, neck pain, whatever's keeping you from moving like you want to, the Joint's got your back literally. So go hit up thejoint.com, find a location near you, and get yourself back to feeling like you. The Slay Way.
3HL 1045, the Zone. Britt Doherty, Don Davenport with you. Stoney Keeley in studio. The draft book coming out soon. 284 prospects.
players, yeah. And I should specify it is a draft guide written specifically with a Titans tint to it. So every prospect is kind of analyzed in terms of how we think they would fit in the new regime scheme. So
stackingtheinbox.com.
Yes, sir.
Check it out there.
Yes, sir.
What do we think about what might happen at inside linebacker with this roster? Cedric Gray had an historic season.
Yeah.
From a tackle standpoint. How does Barton, how do those two guys fit in with what we're seeing, what we will see with Saleh?
I feel like Barton is not a fit anymore.
I don't think either guy is really an ideal fit for this. Robert Saleh was quoted earlier this week, and forgive me, I can't remember who had the clip, but he talked about the linebackers playing hook to hook. So you think about those in like pass coverage, there's zones, and one hook is on one side of the formation, one hook is on the other. Typically, like with Denard Wilson, you had a player defending each zone, and they were more north-south players anyway. Denard Wilson's always going to have a special place in my heart for what he did with the defense last season. Because
he didn't get enough credit.
He didn't, and
he kind of would complain about it publicly.
He was like, I think he was tired of it. Finally, he's like, look what I'm working with.
You're trading my starters.
Like so funny, like watching a little bit of the defensive tape, and you would watch like these crazy formations, like he's moving things around up front, personnel swapping in and out, substituting, and
doing whatever he can.
They're generating all this pressure, but then the ball comes out, and you're watching the end zone angle of the all-22, so you're just kind of like, you just see the offensive, defensive lines, the quarterback, and the ball comes out, and when the ball travels down the field, there's the receiver, and there's not a Titans defensive back within like 5 yards of the guy, just over and over. I felt so bad for him, but I think he did a really good job of identifying the strengths of the personnel that he had and saying, all right, you know what? We're going to build this thing out to stop the run because maybe we don't have the elite pass rushers. Maybe we're kind of weaker in the secondary. So if we can just stop the run, make guys uncomfortable from the interior, then we have a shot. And so Cody Barton and Cedric Gray were kind of perfect for that because when they're dropping into coverage, it's just kind of, taking a step back. Guys got their own zones, not a lot to worry about. But then against the run is where you see them crowding the line and filling gaps and penetrating and blowing up run plays. So I think Denard Wilson did a really good job with the ingredients he had. But when you hear Robert Saleh talking about guys that play hook to hook or hook to flat, that's moving laterally. So the bucket, this is how I distinguish the two. Felt like Denard Wilson had his linebackers playing north-south, which is what Cody Barton and Cedric Gray excel at.
Do well.
Get your gap.
Feels like Robert Saleh wants his linebackers playing east to west. So opposite directions, so to speak. So that's why I'm kind of looking at this like, okay. And we talk a lot about the rangy linebackers that have played for Robert Saleh. And I know he said, well, we don't ask our linebackers to cover as much ground as those guys do. Like, we don't ask that much of them. But, it's still a different skill set to move side to side than it is front to back.
Yeah.
So I get what he's saying. And Cody Barton has experience playing in that system. So I get it, but it's difficult for me to see. They've got to get at least one guy that has the range to play side to side. And I don't know that either of the guys that they have really fits that bill. So, I mean, maybe that it opens the door for a James Williams to find a role within this defense. But I would not be surprised if they address linebacker higher in this draft than people are thinking right now.
Like inside
Just
linebacker.
add one more hole.
Yeah, that's what. Hey, that's really positive today,
Just
guys.
move James Williams to edge and be done with it.
There we go. Now we're talking.
Hey, thanks for coming in, man. Congrats on
Anytime.
getting the guide done.
Yeah,
and
I appreciate y'all.
Can't wait to see that. Football and Other F Words podcast with Zach Lyons and Stoney Keeley every Thursday. You can find it where you get your podcast, stackingtheinbox.com. NFL draft expert is what I labeled you today.
I don't know. I don't feel good about the expert. I'm just a draft writer. I'm just a guy that learns and likes to share what he learns. That's it.
That's an expert.
Yeah, for our purposes.
Yeah.
When you sit in this room.
We'll get you a shirt. Expert.
Hey, have a great Easter weekend. We appreciate you coming in.
Enjoy your puzzles.
Anytime. I cannot wait. We're relaxing tonight.
You guys enjoy your Easter weekend as well. We appreciate you listening. Thank you for including us in your day and in your lives. We did not take that for granted, nor do we take that lightly. Organized chaos. 3HL. Hopefully we were able to put a smile on your face. Have a great Easter weekend, y'all. Good night. God bless.
See ya.
Wouldn't want to be unless you were getting a shout out to Draft Month, man. It's almost here.
Let's go.
That's right.